Began the season in sensational fashion.
Throws it to the post. Touchdown!
Against the Redskins, a 21-point deficit became an overtime victory. Troy Aikman reflects.
I think it does say something to our football team that, hey, we aren't ever out of a game, and we do have the ability to come back from a big deficit and win.
Aikman, play fake, back with time, deep, he's got Rocket alone. Rocket, caught it at the 40. Rocket, touchdown! Dallas wins in overtime.
On the ground, Emmitt Smith ran for 109 yards.
I think we grew together as a ball club on Sunday. I think we grew tremendously. If there was any doubts within this organization, within this team, I think a lot of those doubts were removed.
Now, Troy Aikman and company can take a big step in convincing the rest of the country when the Dallas Cowboys take on the NFC champion Atlanta Falcons. A premium matchup tonight on ABC's Monday Night Football.
In the 90s, right now, low 80s. Texas Stadium sold out, home of the Cowboys since 1971. Tonight, the Falcons and the Cowboys. Al Michaels with Boomer Esiason and Leslie Visser. What a wild 2 weekends it has been in the National Football League. No game wilder than the Washington-Dallas game last Sunday when the Cowboys became only the second team in the history of the NFL to trail by 21 points with 11 minutes to play and win the game. Troy Aikman throwing 5 touchdown passes. Tonight it's the Falcons, the NFC champions, 14-2 last year, trying to prove they weren't one-year wonders. If they lose tonight, they will have lost as many games in '99 as they did in all of '98. They'll need a big night tonight from their premier running back, Jamal Anderson. Good matchup at Texas Stadium as the Dallas Cowboys host the Atlanta Falcons on Monday Night Football. Back at Texas Stadium, buzzing before the kickoff, and with Boomer Esiason now. Boomer, we'll see Troy Aikman on one side of the field tonight. On the other, Tony Graziani, because of the injury to Chris Chandler, gets the start for Atlanta, only his 3rd career start.
Now, who is Tony Graziani? He's got 2 good things going for him. He's left-handed, and he wears number 7. And really, even a better thing, he's got a great running back in Jamal Anderson, who was very angry last week because he only carried the ball 16 times. I would suggest that we're going to see a big dose of him. If Tony Graziani does not complete a lot of passes, does not move the ball and get first downs, expect to see Danny Cannell.
Well, Atlanta's going up against a defense that gave up over 500 yards to the Redskins last week, so they're porous.
As sensational as their offense was last week, the Cowboys defense is in somewhat of a disarray form right now. They're missing Deion Sanders. They're missing Leon Lett. This is a team right now that is trying to find himself. The great thing about the NFL, Al, redemption is at hand. They can basically make a statement tonight and try to get themselves back to where they expect to be.
Might have another shootout tonight. Been a wild 2 weeks, as we say in the NFL. Action tonight as Week 2 climaxes in Dallas. The Cowboys and the Falcons.
Number 7 in the booth, you have one on the field. What are you asking of Tony Graziani?
Well, just to play his game. You know, if we're going to win this thing, we can't make mistakes, and Tony knows that. But we got to run the football and hope them make them earn everything they get.
What about on defense? You saw how explosive Dallas was last week.
Well, you got to stop their running game, then hopefully put some pressure on them. But they're going to move the football. We just got to hope them get some turnovers.
Thank you very much, Dan. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Leslie. Dan Reeves coming into Dallas. He came in here 4 times as the coach of the Giants between 93 and 96 and went 0-4. Morton Anderson to kick off. Sherman Williams, the once and current Cowboy, re-signed again this week along with Jeff Ogden back deep. And here we go from Irving, Texas. It's a one-hopper that skips through the end zone, and the Cowboys will take over at the 20-yard line. Troy Aikman has been working his magic since 1989 when he was the first overall pick in the NFL out of UCLA. Now in year 11, coming off a scintillating performance last week in the nation's capital with 5 touchdown passes. And Emmitt Smith had another triple-figure day last Sunday. Tim Lester was just signed this week, the ex-Steeler. Ismail and Irvin outside. LaFleur, the tight end, 2 TDs last week. Great offensive line. Adams, Allen, Stepnoski, McIver, and Williams. Stepnoski used to be with the Cowboys, went to Tennessee, then they brought him back, and he anchors the middle. They start with Bjornsson in the slot on this first play from the 20-yard line. And Aikman to the air immediately, and the pass is a little bit underthrown, incomplete, intended for Michael Irvin, who's covered by Ronnie Bradford. Defensively, for the Atlanta Falcons, who lost last week 17-14 to Minnesota. Archambault, Hall, Dronette, and Smith, a good front four. Crockett, Tuggle, and Brooking, the linebackers. Buchanan and Bradford, Marty Carter, the ex-Bear, and Eugene Robinson are the safeties.
Yeah, the defensive line of the Atlanta Falcons, very active, strong, like to get in front of people, good fighters at the point of attack.
On second down and 10. And it's Smith's first carry of the night, and it's a flag as he takes it out to the 24. Travis Hall makes the stop, and so Tom White makes the first call of the night momentarily.
You're going to have motion on the Dallas Cowboys, two men moving at the same time. Again, the war of the trenches in this game is really going to be key, especially when the Atlanta defense is on the field against the offensive line of the Cowboys. And it's because of the activity that front seven of the Atlanta defense can give you, that the Cowboys front five are really going to have to be aware.
Illegal shift, offense, two men in motion and not setting prior to the snap. At the time the left end was dropping down, the back in motion was still moving and never reset. Third down.
Maybe we should give him a headset.
Absolutely. He has to join the union. Tom White should be an AFTRA. Third down and 6 up at the 24-yard line. Chris Warren is in the game. Warren is their third down back. That's when Emmitt Smith takes a breather. Aikman out of the shotgun from the 24-yard line. They convert. Michael Irvin makes the catch up at the 31. 88 has been here since 1988. Irvin is the last of the Cowboys to have played for Tom Landry.
Michael Irvin also had a great game last week, and you could see right here he uses his big body to go up, make the play, get in front of Buchanan. And when you have a receiver of this type and that size and that aggressive, all you have to do is get him the ball in his chest and he'll make the play for you.
Up at the 32-yard line.
Nice target.
That's Tim Lester setting up at fullback. Lester, who used to be the bus driver for the bus Jerome Bettis in Pittsburgh, will assume that role here up to the 33. And the reason Lester is in there is because that man, Darryl Johnston, who had neck surgery 2 years ago, came back last year, felt a stinger last week in Washington, Boomer, and the doctor suggested that his season be done with.
Well, it was interesting. After the game in Washington, he was fine. And Monday, and then he was fine also. Then Tuesday night, he started to feel numbness in both of his hands and also his face. And he made a deal with his doctor that if, in fact, he was going to have problems afterwards, that he would shut it down, and certainly he did. And there's the block by Lester right there on Brooking. But Brooking does a nice job of fighting it off and making the tackle.
Lester in pretty good shape because he was dropped by Jacksonville just prior to the start of the regular season. And Aikman under pressure and racing through is Chuck Smith, the left defensive end. Smith in his 8th year out of Tennessee, and one of the best in the league, and showing you why right there.
And you're talking about an athlete. This guy's only 6'2", 262 pounds. You're used to seeing guys over there about 280, 290. And you can see right here how he runs right around Eric Williams. And Eric Williams, guys get his hands on him. Actually, it's Flozell Adams, excuse me. But he's active, Al. He'll get in the backfield. He'll make all kinds of disruptions and give Flozell Adams a long night like that if he doesn't get on him.
9-yard sack, third down and 19. Fake inside give, then a toss to Warren. And Warren, with very little room to roam, stopped well shy of the first at the 27-yard line, and they're forced to kick. He's run out by Keith Thibodeau.
Now, this defense of the Atlanta Falcons really played exceptionally well last week against the Vikings, holding them to 17 points. And give Rich Brooks right there, he's the first guy in line on your left, the defensive coordinator of the Falcons, a lot of credit for developing a scheme and using the players that he has to shut down the Vikings and look good right now, right off the bat.
Tim Dwight, who's been nursing a sore hamstring, the quick one, a man who ran back a kick for a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
He is the human accident waiting to happen.
He is. Knows no fear. Toby Goen descended skyward. It's a wobbly and short kick that bounces at the 45, and it's a sideways hop, and it's down at the 43-yard line by Dexter Coakley, and that's where Atlanta will take over. 12-14 left in the opening quarter, and Big D. The Falcons have the ball. BC making his first NFL start for Denver tonight. Tony Graziani makes his third NFL start. 7th round pick out of Oregon in the 1997 draft.
And you know what's interesting about him? We talked to him yesterday, Al. He said he's just battling for a roster start when training camp started.
And here he is starting. Anderson and Christian in the backfield. Callaway, Mathis outside. Santiago is the tight end. Whitfield, Hallen, Toback, Williams, and Salam up front. Good interior 5 from the 45-yard line on first down. Jamal Anderson on a flea flicker of all things with a young quarterback going deep and should have had a touchdown. Callaway drops it. So Dan Reeves, you would think, would be very conservative with a young quarterback making a start on Monday Night Football. Instead, it's the flea flicker, and he had 6.
Al, knowing Dan Reeves the way I do, he has a big bag of tricks. He likes a lot of trick plays. I asked him last night, are we going to see any? He goes, yeah, you know, I have a few up my sleeve. And he starts out this way, and it was a terrific throw by Graziani. It looked to me as if Callaway gets just shielded there a little bit. Got to make that play.
Should have had it. Second down and 10 from the 44. Now it's Anderson. And across the 50, taken down at the 49. Jamal picks up 7. Mathis and Ellis make the tackle. Let's look at the Dallas defense. Again, minus Lett, minus Sanders, minus Leon and Dion. Pittman, Spellman, Hennings, and Ellis up front. Spellman, the longtime Bear end, now playing inside. Hambrick, Godfrey, and Coakley are the linebackers. Mathis and Williams were burned often last week at the corners. Teague and Woodson are the safeties. Not only missing Dion, but missing Kevin Smith as well. And Atlanta shedding no tears because there's their starting quarterback, Chris Chandler, with a sore hamstring, in uniform, but would only play in an emergency. Third down and 3. Graziani throws. It's intercepted at the 45 by Dexter Coakley, and he's fast. And Coakley is able to stay in bounds all the way down to the 11-yard line.
Al, when you're a quarterback and you're standing back there, you have to make sure that you move your eyes. Defensive linebackers like Coakley are reading your eyes. And if you're going to look at Callaway the whole way, you're going to jump on the football in this league, and that's what you get from not playing. That's the lack of experience. Watch Graziani right here, looking to his right the whole time, doesn't take his head off. And Coakley's reading him the whole way. And you can see the speed of Coakley and the speed of the Dallas defense. So somewhat of a redeeming factor right here. Look at his eyes right there, staring the whole way. And when you know you have a young quarterback back there as a defender, you can read his eyes and just make a play on the ball.
Third interception of Coakley's career. Ball at the 10. It's first and goal with the nose of the ball on the chalk. Emmitt Smith cuts it back. Taken down at the 8. Gain of 2. Tripped up by Marty Carter, and that's Marty Carter's, let's say, shoe of, that's Emmitt Smith's shoe that gets taken off by Marty Carter. Second down and goal.
This is the way this league works. One play, you could have had a touchdown, and the next thing you know, you're back up against your goal line, and you're defending for a touchdown. And when you can take a look here how Emmitt loses his shoe. Those are pretty expensive shoes, too, by the way.
They are. Just another way to get a plug in, I guess. Second down and goal from the 8. Fake toss. Rochambeau chasing Aikman, and then Troy is out of bounds at the 6-yard line. It'll be third down and goal. 4.5 minutes into the game. The Cowboys, amazingly, with a win tonight, would be one of only 2 teams in the NFC to be 2-0. I mean, only Detroit of all teams, amazing Detroit, saw Barry Sanders, and St. Louis 1-0 with a bye yesterday, are unbeaten along with Dallas in the NFC East. In the NFC, period.
Well, you find out how good you are when you lose your best player. And I think the Detroit Lion players for the longest time have always kind of given Barry a space, but now they have to do it without him.
So far, so good. Meanwhile, third down and goal now from the 6-yard line. Aikman. Too high. Michael Irvin stopping in the end zone. Ronnie Bradford with the coverage, and so Dallas can't cash in for 7. Instead, will settle for a field goal attempt.
You know, it was Bradford on this particular play. It was Buchanan the play before. This is, like I was saying, this is an active Atlanta defense, and you can see right here Bradford waiting for Michael Irvin. It's a little fake inside to go back outside. Incidental contact. The officials are not going to call that. Nice positioning by Bradford that time.
Now Richie Cunningham, this will be a 23-yard attempt. puts it down, and Richie's kick is good. So the interception by Coakley, the good run back, and Dallas capitalizes for 3. 9:53 left in the first. 3-0 Dallas. And warm tonight too. Dexter Coakley setting up that field goal with the interception after Graziani should have had a touchdown. Callaway dropping what would have been a touchdown pass. Goins' kick is a one-hopper. Dwight backs up and downs it in the end zone. And now Atlanta takes over for its second series at the 20. Here's a reminder, you can go to ESPN.com or NFL.com right now and try our enhanced TV during tonight's telecast. Graziani is, among other things, a brand new father. His wife giving birth to a baby boy, Benjamin, 2 weeks ago today. September the 6th. Graziani, a 7th-round pick, as was Jamal Anderson 3 years prior, each the 204th guy picked in their respective drafts. From the 20, first down Atlanta. And Jamal Anderson looking for room up to the 23. He is, in the truest sense of the word, Boomer, a workhorse. 410 carries last year. When you do the math on that, that means he carries on average 26 times a game. And the Falcons, they don't like Monday night, or haven't in recent times. They've lost 8 straight. The Falcons have not won a Monday night game since '81.
Well, Jamal Anderson loves to run through the tackles. He is not an outside guy. He'd rather run over guys as opposed to being around them. And that's the type of back you like to have behind you. Hand it to him and let him go.
Here he goes again. This time he looks to go outside and hurts himself and grabs for his knee. And this is the worst scenario now for Dan Reeves. And we've seen, without speculating too many of these things, a non-contact thing on AstroTurf, trying to move to his left. And the concern quite evident as Reeves looks up for the replay.
Oh, boy. Now, how many more players can go down without contact in this league until they start really looking at this closely? I don't know a player that likes to play on AstroTurf, let alone loves to play on it. And it's a God, that looks bad.
So Anderson and Chandler, who is already in effect done for the night. You're looking at the quarterback who took you to the Super Bowl and the running back who took you to the Super Bowl.
Watch here. He moves to his left, takes a jump stop, and then lands on it the wrong way.
And the irony there, Boomer, is you were just finished talking about the fact he normally loves to go inside.
Right.
So the inside blocked that time and moved to the outside, trying to move to his left, and we see this.
The way the NFL is set up nowadays, when teams lose players like this, Al, you wonder where they go from here.
Byron Hanspard is the backup running back. Injury timeout. 9:01 left in the period.
Power. He had a nice smile to his face, Al, and let's just hope that it's not serious. And
yeah, I mean, when he went down, you thought that the cart would be the next thing you would see. So a lot better than we initially thought. Look at the report as Graziani is under pressure and just heaves it away. Intended for Callaway. Charlie Williams that time on the corner blitz. So they're going to throw everything now because you've got the young quarterback and you have Byron Hanspard in as the running back. And the Atlanta Falcons come into tonight's game with only 3 running backs. One of those, Anderson, doubtful now for the rest of the night.
And they are going to throw a lot of things at Graziani. That's one of the things that you want to do to a young quarterback. You want to fluster him, you want to get in his face, and you want to knock him down, and you want to hit him hard.
Dan Straczynski is the Atlanta punter. Deion Sanders would normally run back the kicks, but inactive tonight, unless it is Wayne McGarity doing a pretty good Deion invitation. Flag goes down. He takes it to the 22-yard line.
I see a little push in the back, I believe, by the Dallas Cowboys, Al, and terrific run by McGarity. And penalties like this are what even out games. And there you see Jamal leaving the field.
During the return, get an illegal block in the back. Number 44, be a 10-yard penalty. First down, timeout.
That is Robert Thomas with the penalty. Deion expressing his displeasure. He thinks he'll be back in 2 weeks. Cowboys are off next week. Anderson off to the locker room. 3-0 Dallas.
Back at Texas Stadium. Stadium, where Jamal Anderson, after being surrounded by 9 Falcon officials, did walk off the field under his own power. He twisted his right knee. Dr. Andrew Bishop said they are going now to take a look at it, but Jamal, as he walked off the field, said, "I think I'm okay." We'll hope so, Al.
Okay, Leslie, and you're right down there.
What a break.
So we'll get the latest word and keep you abreast. Meanwhile, Tony Hudson with a whistle negating this play. Tony Hudson is taking over at tackle for Eric Williams. Williams on that first series with a strained quadricep, and his return is doubtful.
False start. Number 66 offense.
He promptly gets his name called. Sure.
Prior to the snap, it's a 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, if there is a problem now along the interior for Shane Gailey's offensive unit, I mean, that interior 5 is terrific, but minus Williams, it's something less than terrific. First down and 15 from the 23-yard line. Aikman with that short drop and that classic DP, but too deep for Michael Irvin, who is always looking for a flag. Rodney Bradford with the coverage.
Michael Irvin actually had Bradford beat that time, and you could see right there giving it to Bradford verbally. If Troy just would have thrown that ball a little bit higher and a little bit more touch on it, he would have had him. Look how far off Bradford is playing. You can see that he respects his speed and his ability, and he went right past him.
And then he looks over at Gary Lane, the side judge. Gary used to be a referee and then went back to being a side judge. And Gary says, "What do you want me to do about it?" Second down and 50.
Tell your quarterback to throw it better.
From the 23. Smith tackled in the backfield. Andre Crockett makes the stop. Third down. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Ford Outfitters. No boundaries. Miller Lite, taste of true Pilsner. Charles Schwab, when we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we also created a smarter kind of investor. And Microsoft, where do you want to go today?
This is going to be a difficult front seven for Emmitt Smith and Chris Warren to get on track. Throwing the ball is their best opportunities. You can see that they can get past the secondary players.
Third down and 16. Ernie Mills, one of the Cowboy receivers, number 80, lines up in the backfield. And Aikman, under duress, throws incomplete. Ismail, the intended receiver, and Boomer. In a time like this is when the defensive unit of the Falcons knows, minus a quarterback, minus their running back, if they're going to win this game, the defense is going to do it.
And the defense is what got them to where they were last year, creating turnovers, creating fumbles and interceptions. And this guy is one of the better defensive coordinators in all of football. And you could see the activity on the line of scrimmage. They stunt, they move around, they make plays, they shift, and it can confuse you as an offense.
They'll be going to do the punting. Tim Dwight back to return the kick.
Gun!
High walking boot fielded by Dwight at the 31. And he gets taken down at the 36, and then comes a flag.
Absolutely. Number 54, Ruffin Hamilton, right in the back, and you can see it right in front of the official. You gotta wonder what these guys are thinking about when they're running downfield. When the guy has got his back to you, don't hit him.
It's a call we see. I don't know what the percentage is. A third of the plays, maybe more, run backs.
You're all keyed up. Your special teams coach is screaming at you, getting you all fired up.
Illegal block in the back. Number 54 during the return. It'll be a 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
Just got to be aware of what's going on.
Number 1 Florida State against UNC. This is Byron Hanspard in the absence of the injured Anderson. Hanspard is from Dallas. He's from this area, went to Texas Tech. He won the Doak Walker Award as the top college running back in the country in '96. Played as a backup with the Falcons in '97, then tore his knee up in preseason last year and missed the whole year. And he'll be obviously a very key figure for the rest of tonight's game.
He made the all-rookie team as a kick returner, so this kid has obviously had some success. But take a look at the total yards tonight. Boy.
Not quite a Texas shootout, at least at the outset. Graziani under pressure, but escaping from Godfrey. Throwing deep on the run, and open is Chris Callaway to make the catch. He got position on Charlie Williams way downfield, and a big first down for the Falcons.
And this is where a lefty is different as opposed to a righty. When the lefty escapes the pocket, 9 times out of 10, Al, he's going to go to the left side. And when you're practicing against a right-hander or thinking you're going to see a right-hander, these are the things that are different. And right here, they're blitzing. He's play-actioning. He really has no chance here other than to do this. And he shows nice movement. And again, a good touch on the football to get it downfield.
33-yard pass. First down at the 39-yard line. Hansbard swinging to the outside, picking up 5, so a chance tonight for Byron to shine in his hometown. 5'10" and 200 pounds. It'll be second down and 5.
And we talked about the Dallas defense and how leaky they were last week against Washington. One of the reasons being, obviously, Leon Lett is not in the game and on the team right now. He's suspended. But Alonzo Spellman, their defensive tackle, has moved in from defensive end. And you can see Dave Campo right there has had to make adjustments to get these players in positions that they've never played before.
Second down and 5. Hansbard coming up from the secondary was Darren Woodson to hit him first. And his momentum stopped at the 32, setting up a 3rd and long 2.
I was asking one of the defensive assistants before the game, how difficult is it to move from end to tackle? And he says, well, Boomer, if you're a strong safety and you have to go out and cover a receiver as a cornerback one-on-one, that's what it'd be akin to. I mean, it's a different position. You have different responsibilities. And Alonzo Spellman, really, most players would resist that. Changeli was saying that he's been professional. He said, this is what I wanted. If you need me, no problem.
And coming off a year off as well. So he was picked up by the Cowboys. Asked to get back in shape, change positions, and a vital guy up front on 3rd and 3. It's knocked down. Graziani has the pass deflected by Williams, intended for the tight end Santiago.
You got a break there as well. That time what we should try to do is maybe kind of loft the ball a little bit higher. Santiago is one of the new breed of tight ends in this league that are 6'7", 270 pounds. And Tony tries to drill the ball in here as opposed to trying to throw it over Williams and giving Santiago a chance to use his height advantage.
Now Morton Anderson, the longtime Saint, came to Atlanta in '95. He's been kicking in the NFL since '82. Put him into the Super Bowl last year, but missed 2 last week. This is a 49-yarder. And the kick is no good. So Morton Anderson, the kind of kicker who will probably wind up in the Hall of Fame, is not off to a Hall of Fame start this season.
Looks like he just mishit it a little bit like one of your drives over at Bel Air.
Many of them, not just one of them.
Didn't hit it real solid. Usually when you hear a solid kick, you hear that thud. Sound like he got under that one too much.
And of course, every kicker this year, when missing, they can begin to talk about the new balls marked with a special K. The balls that they used to be able to microwave and rub up and put in the dryer and all of the rest. And now only the referee can take the sheen off them before the game. From the 40-yard line on first down. Moving through the middle is Emmitt Smith. Gain of 3. Leslie, what do you have?
Al, an update on Jamal Anderson. The good news is that the x-rays are negative. They're going to ice his right knee and evaluate him in the morning. The bad news is he is done for the night. Al.
That would figure, because you can't take a chance in a situation like that. And here it was again.
Doesn't look like much. It just looks like his right foot didn't give when he jumped. It's an amazing thing. Nobody can touch you and you can get hurt like that. And thank goodness it's not severe.
2nd and 7. And here is Smith again. And Emmitt with a first down all the way to the 44-yard line. Tackled by Eugene Robinson.
And all that does now, Al, is puts greater pressure on the defense of the Atlanta Falcons. And Emmitt Smith had a great game last week. He was excited. There were talk about how he went in the 3rd quarter to say, hey, we have to run the ball a little bit more against the Redskins. They did that. They got back in the game. He, Troy, and Michael, talking to them this week, all seemed to be excited about what they were able to accomplish.
Emmitt running like a young Colt again. First down at the 44-yard line. Not an Indianapolis Colt.
First James.
Yes. Smith again. And it will be 2nd down and 10. Aikman and Emmitt, they've been together a long time. Here's Troy on Emmitt.
So many people over the last several years that have wanted to say that Emmitt's slowing down, and I really have not seen that. I still see the fire in his eyes, the competitiveness that he has. and he still makes people miss, just like he has throughout his entire career.
He looked good last week, I'll tell you, and he is in his 10th year, and there's no question that wear and tear takes over after a while.
2nd and 11 from the 45. And Smith, after picking up a first down, losing yardage on the subsequent pair of plays. Travis Hall, the first to greet him. You know, with Barry Sanders, at least for the moment, retired, and Barry could have, as Chan Gailey barks into his headset, Sanders would have eclipsed Walter Payton, barring injury. You now look to Emmitt Smith as the guy, if anybody right now can eclipse the mark of Walter Payton in career rushing yardage. Emmitt could do it.
A few more runs like that last one, though. No, it's not going to happen.
3rd down and 13. He comes out. Warren comes in on 3rd down. Ernie Mills is the man in motion. 4-man rush, and the pass is caught over the middle. It's the Rocket, Ismail, and the Rocket takes it to the 10-yard line. And he is shaken up at the end of the play. Ismail, who was on the receiving end of the bomb in overtime last week, and is the other receiver, the complement to Michael Irvin, with a 38-yard reception here, but shaken up, and an injury timeout on the field.
Now, I don't know how many times I've heard people say it's 3rd and 11, it's 3rd and 10. Why do you only throw the ball 5 yards? Well, you throw the ball where the progression takes you. That time the progression took Troy Aikman to Rocket. Rocket made the play in between the defenders, and speed is what makes first downs, and the ability of wide receivers like Rocket. Take a look right here. You can see it's about 3rd and 13. He only throws it 5 yards. You break a few tackles, and the next thing you know, you're off to the races. And take a look at what happens to his leg right there at the end. Watch this here. Does a nice job of covering up the football after the catch, and you see Buchanan rolling up on him. But he almost sat on him.
Well, Ismail is such a key guy. Jerry Jones, the Cowboy owner, had him in his sights because the Cowboys for a number of years have been looking for the other guy ever since Alvin Harper left and opted to go to Tampa Bay, and then never came up with anywhere near the numbers that he put up here. The Rocket will walk off under his own power. But they keep going to the free agent market and find the other receiver, try to find him, and it appears they have the guy right now in Ismail. But as you go through the years since Harper left, you've got Kevin Williams in 95, and then Dion in 96 was playing offense and defense. Anthony Miller for 1 year, and then Billy Davis last year. And none of them have come up to the figures put up by Harper.
Well, this kid is certainly a true pro in that he practices great. Talking to Jason Garrett, says he loves his work habits, he loves his studying, he knows exactly what he wants to do on the field, and he's been a great addition.
Ernie Mills comes in for him. Normally the number 3 receiver. It's 1st down and goal now. Bjornsson in motion from the 9. And Aikman throws, and it's knocked down at the 2-yard line. Irvin looks for a flag and gets one. Ronnie Bradford argues the call.
You know, Al, he's arguing the call because he believes that he has a right to go to the football, and you do have a right to go to the football. You just cannot run through the receiver on your way there. And it was clear that Ronnie Bradford got there before the ball did.
Number 23, defense. That's a 1st down.
See, the time before they were down here, they ran a little play fake off of this where Irvin looked like he was going to go in, and then Dirk broke to the outside, and Bradford just makes contact a little bit too early right there. It's a good call by the official that time.
1st and goal from the 3-yard line. They work on the Rocket. Cowboys now in a tight formation. And they give it to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt gets to the 1-yard line. And Ebenezer Ecubon, you saw number 96. They operate him in short yardage situations. Not that uncommon around the league these days. There he is. He is the defensive end. Ecubon is their rookie from North Carolina. In fact, their number 1 pick. They love him on defense, and on offense he can help pave the way.
Well, they have him there because when he was in college at North Carolina, he was originally a tight end and then moved him to defense in his junior year. So he has some sense of what to do over there. He's not a true defensive player in the sense of the word.
Chan Gailey says he's actually in the playbook. on the receiving end of the pass. We'll see, though, as Emmitt Smith moves to the outside and goes in untouched.
See right here, watch Keith Brooking, number 56 on the end of the line of scrimmage, taking a poor pursuit angle and gets caught inside, and Emmitt Smith shows you that he still has enough speed to get out and around the corner.
Emmitt Smith with Cunningham for the extra point. That's 127 rushing touchdowns for Emmitt Smith, most in history. 18 of them have come on Monday nights, and 136 total touchdowns in Emmitt's soon-to-be Hall of Fame career. Soon to be 5 years after he retires. Our 30th year of Monday Night Football. So many great moments to look back upon. Here's one of them, 1973.
What about watching? Bob Lee still running. He's got him wide open. And it's a like that. Eddie Ray, touchdown, 39 yards out.
Bob Lee, the general.
I remember that. I remember that night.
I do too. Watching that game, the Falcons in those years, not necessarily a staple on Monday night, but at least in most of the games we mentioned before, they haven't won a Monday night game since '81, which is amazing.
They're not starting off the way that they wanted to, and a missed field goal, a dropped touchdown pass, and before you know it, you find yourself down 10-0. How much more can the defense of the Atlanta Falcons take?
Half a minute to go in the quarter. Goins picked and Dwight fielding at the 3-yard line. And this is exactly what Atlanta's going to need. Good special teams play along with good defense, as Toby Goin, the kicker, is able to trip him up.
And you have a flag on the play. It's going to be holding, I believe.
All the way back at the 23-yard line. And Joe DeCamillis, the Atlanta special teams coach, and Dan Reeves' son-in-law, expresses his anger. Might be Ed Jasper who gets called for it. Tom White is the ref.
Holding, number 95.
It was.
During the return, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jasper.
Al, you know, for the Atlanta Falcons right now, they have to kind of eat some clock up. They got to give their defense a little time to rest on the sideline. They've been out there almost all night long. And after a while, it's going to wear down. And that big offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys is going to take its toll.
20 seconds left. Sunday, the television season beginning here on AB.
You watching that, baby?
Yes, we will. We'll be taping it as well. From the 13-yard line, this is Hanspard. Picking up 3 up to the 16-yard line, and that's going to do it for the first quarter. So it's a week in which the Falcons have to come to town with Graziani as their quarterback and Chandler hurt. They lose Anderson for the rest of the night early and trail 10-0 after 1.
Rocket fuel. Now he's in the locker room. Rocket Ismail with a sprained left shoulder. He was in a great deal of pain. By the way, he also hurt this shoulder in training camp. Al.
So both teams losing key people at the outset tonight. Eric Williams doubtful for the rest of the game. So is the Rocket, and Jamal Anderson is out for Atlanta as Byron Hanspard takes the ball across the 20 up to the 23. And as you can see tonight, we're instituting what you've seen on other telecasts, that yellow line indicating the first down.
When you watch the Atlanta Falcons offense, watch the center, Robbie Tovic, Al. Last year in the game against Minnesota in the NFC Championship game, because of the noise in the crowd, he is the one that is actually calling the signals at the line of scrimmage. So watch his head. When he lifts up his head, that's when the ball is going to be snapped. You'll see right here. There's one, and there's the snap.
And on 3rd down and 1, they give it to Hanspard, who goes chugging up to the 23 and close to a first down.
And they need a first down bad right here.
And that yellow line, our yellow line that we superimpose, is unofficial. Within a couple of millimeters, but unofficial.
They talked about last year in that NFC Championship game the fact that the Falcons did not move offside, and everybody was wondering, wow, what a great job of concentrating on the quarterback's cadence, but that was not the case. The center is the one who's calling the cadence at the line of scrimmage, and you just have to watch his head, and you'll be able to see that all night long tonight because they figure that this crowd is as loud as it was in Minnesota last year. And they needed a first down badly there.
And don't get one. And can't afford to gamble, obviously. This early in the game at their own 23. So Graziani comes out. Dan Reeves, and Dan telling us last night he's in good health, doesn't like that spot. As you know, Dan last year at the end of the season underwent quadruple bypass surgery.
Now, if he doesn't like that spot, he can ask for a replay, can he?
Theoretically, yes. Yes, he could. I haven't seen anybody do that yet, though. I mean, it's that would be. I mean, that's really like slicing.
Right.
Slicing it real closely. Straczynski gets off a kick. Fair catch is called for and made at the 38. Night football as the Cardinals take on the 49ers in Tempe next Monday night. Now Dallas up 10-0, and it's Smith picks up 2. Ray Buchanan up from the corner to make the hit. Next week, week 3, Sunday Night Football on ESPN. The New York Giants against New England with Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, and Paul McGuire reporting. And the Patriots off that big win yesterday against Indianapolis, coming from behind. And San Francisco and Steve Young, who really took a pounding yesterday, coming away with a win against New Orleans against the Arizona Cardinals, who gave Miami all they could handle. And the Cards in their home opener with a record of 1-1.
That was 2 weeks in a row that old man out of San Francisco got beat up pretty good.
He did. 21 times he went down yesterday. And that is LaFleur reaching for it. And does he make the catch? No. David with the ball hitting the turf, sandwiched by Henri Crockett and Eugene Robinson.
Tough catch to make, but the ball was there. You got to make these catches if you want to make it to the Pro Bowl. Difficult. LaFleur, again, is one of those new breed of tight ends. He's 6'7", 275 pounds. He's a nice target running down the middle. You can see Henri Crockett doing all he can to stay with him. That would have been a tremendous catch. But he knew there was a hit coming from Eugene Robinson. It's easy to say catch the ball up here, but that's something that Kellen Winslow would have had that, right? Ozzie Newsome?
If he had earplugs. 3rd down and 7. Aikman going for Irvin, and here comes the flag. And now what's going to be? Offensive, defense. Irvin and Buchanan.
I think it's going to be defense because Buchanan was not looking for the football.
And it is against the Falcons. Michael, of course, is well known, noted for years for pushing off, using his hands, being very physical.
Number 34, defense. That's a first down.
This is a terrific matchup in tonight's game. Buchanan stays right with him. He's right there. He's trying to read him. You could see Michael Irvin actually trying to push by and pull by him. But if Buchanan can try to make a play for the ball, then he might have gotten the call, or it might not have been called pass interference.
That was the key. It was a 19-yard penalty, as it turns out. First down from the 39. And it's Smith. Nothing there. No gain. Jesse Tuggle in on the tackle. Jesse in his 13th year out of Valdosta State. One of those rare cats who spends his whole career with one team. A Falcon since the time he came into the league. And a guy, even though tackles are unofficial stats, through the years, year after year, he leads the team in tackles. 2nd down and 10. Aikman improvises and throws, and it's caught inside the 25-yard line by Bjornsson.
Not only is he improvising, he's going no huddle, trying to put the pressure on the Falcon defense, not getting him a chance to line up and get into their situational. And you can see right now, Chucky Smith is kind of walking leisurely off the field, and the Cowboys are in their no huddle offense right here, putting pressure on the defense of the Falcons. A great move by Chan Gailey.
Got him on the heels, leading by 10, threatening again. That is tipped in the air, and it's picked off at the 10-yard line, intercepted by Eugene Robinson. And the veteran Robinson in his 15th year with a very big interception, and Gailey expressing his displeasure with the removal of the headset.
Al, no pass rush, and when you don't get to the quarterback, you're told to jump at the line of scrimmage. And look at Hall. That's exactly what he does to force the interception.
Falcons' first takeaway.
Like that, and Eugene Robinson makes another interception.
First down for the Atlanta Falcons from the 10-yard line. Hands guard. And he picks up a first down up to the 24. Well, Boomer, we've been watching Dan Reeves for years, and one reason that he is a guy who's been to 4 Super Bowls is he knows how to improvise. He doesn't have his quarterback tonight. He doesn't have his top running back tonight. He's playing on the road. He's already lost half as many games as he did last year. But if anybody can figure out a way to stay in it, it's Dan Reeves.
Well, he's a pro coach, no doubt about it, Al. He did not seem at all concerned about this game. I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was boiling inside a little bit. But he has to get a running game going tonight. And that's what every coach in this league wants. But specifically because he has a young quarterback back there.
Somehow find a way, as Bobby Ross has been able to do in Detroit, from the 24-yard line to give it to Hanspard again. And when you're talking about a kid like Hanspard, again, we mentioned he won the Doak Walker Award in '96, and that is an award given to the top running back in college football. So you know this guy has what it takes. Last year he tore his knee up, and that was that.
And this is a defense that has given up a lot of yards. So this could be a night for him to come out, shine on Monday night. Everybody knows how good he can be. And maybe we'll see something special.
Well, so far for the Falcons, they were down by 10, but that interception by Robinson was a huge play. And now the Falcon offense tries to generate something on 2nd down and 4. It's a draw. Hanspard goes to the outside and gets tackled up at the 29-yard line by Darren Woodson.
He's going to get a lot of work, Al. Again, remember that there's a 3rd-year quarterback back there who's only started 2 other games in the NFL. He's already thrown 1 interception tonight. The defense for the Atlanta Falcons has been on the field forever. So you're going to have to run the ball, try to shorten the game, and give your team a chance in the 4th quarter to make a play.
Graziani 1 of 5, but if you joined us late, Callaway dropped what would have been a touchdown on the very first play of the game, a flea flicker. 3rd down and 3 from the 30-yard line. And that is caught by Santiago, and that's a first down. So Graziani is now 2 of 6, and Hanspard on the ground, acquitting himself well. 9 carries for 39 yards.
A little bit easier to make 3rd and 3 as opposed to 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13, and you get a chance to use your entire offensive playbook when you're in situations like this. And Santiago, the big tight end, just give him a chance to extend and make a play on the ball. He's athletic enough to be able to catch balls like that, and right there it's a matchup you want against a strong safety.
From the 38-yard line on first down. Graziani open at the 50-yard line, threw a bullet into Callaway, who was in between 4 white shirts. First down.
Smart play calling when you know, or when you think you're the defense and you think that the other team's going to run a lot on offense. Little play action passes like this can create seams. Play action passes like this just want to move the linebackers out of the middle and create openings for wide receivers. And Callaway is very adept at finding seams in those zones.
In Dallas territory now, 1st and 10 for Atlanta at the 49. Good protection. Graziani throwing, and that one's off the fingertips of Callaway. Incomplete. Callaway coming over from the Giants. The Falcons were between a rock and a hard place in a way. They had Tony Martin. They wanted to keep Tony Martin, but the problem was Martin had that drug money laundering trial facing him. The Dolphins took a chance and signed him as a free agent, and the Falcons had to pass on paying him X number of dollars, not knowing what would happen, and they had to go out and get somebody else to replace him.
Dan Reeves knows Callaway from his days at the New York Giants. He's not a deep threat, but he's a solid professional receiver who can find the opening. Get rid of it, they're blitzing.
And he does get rid of it, and it's incomplete.
Tough to throw a screen pass in the midst of a blitz, but what he did good there is that he got rid of the football. He didn't take a sack, and sometimes the best plays you make as a quarterback are the ones where you just get rid of the football and you don't make anything worse than it already is. Trying to run a little screen pass right here to Hanspard to the right. Now Dallas defense is blitzing. There's a lot of bodies between he and Byron Hanspard, so he just throws it away. A smart play by Graziani this time.
It'll be 3rd down and 10.
He's kind of limping off right now. It seems like Atlanta called timeout.
with 8:24 remaining in the one down as he threw away that pass on the screen pass attempt. He gets the extra time. It's 3rd down and 10 with the timeout. Rolling, throwing on the run. He has Mathis open, but Mathis is on the chalk. Mathis had gotten behind the corner, Williams, but was standing on the chalk and out of bounds.
Well, I'll tell you, the Dallas defense is turning up the heat in passing situations. They're blitzing. They're coming from everywhere. A good call by the Atlanta Falcons this time, moving Graziani out to his left. And when you run to your left like this as a left-hander, the ball is going to sail left on you. So you have to make adjustments and keep the ball to the middle of the field. You can see the ball went away from Terrence Mathis, and he had no chance to stay in bounds with it. It's a hard thing to do, Al, when you're running to your left, to make yourself think, I got to throw it in the field as opposed to just letting it go because it's going to sail on you. I know that because that's happened to me plenty of times.
Here's Krasinski. Fair catch is pulled for, but letting it go, and Atlanta is able to down it at the franchise born in 1960 and coached by Tom Landry from 60 through 88. First down from the 6-yard line as Aikman throws. It's caught by LaFleur to the 15-yard line. Gain of 8. Let's go to Leslie Visser.
Tony Dorsett for 10 years was the elusive, almost elegant runner for the Dallas Cowboys. He was impossible to tackle head on. You were slipping past linebackers, always on the move, kept the Cowboys in the playoffs. And Tony, you look like you could play today. You're here, of course, to honor the 40th anniversary of the Cowboys. Who have you seen?
Most certainly. You know, I want to Leslie, some of the players that I hadn't seen a long time, and guys I didn't play with, like Otto Stoll, and guys that I played with, Rayfield Wright or Dwayne Thomas. I didn't play with him, but he was the original number 33. So we had over 100 guys here. Jerry really did a good job for us.
What are your thoughts, though, as we see Emmitt Smith? He might be breaking your record right now. What are your thoughts on Emmitt Smith, who needed 65 yards to move into 4th place all time?
You know, my hat goes off to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith is a great runner. I congratulate Emmitt for everything that he's done and everything that he's going to do. I'm hoping he breaks it tonight, you know, to move into 4th place in the all-time rushing list. That will give me the opportunity to eyewitness it here personally up close. But if not, I'm sure he'll do it next week. But and also I admire Emmitt, everything Emmitt stands for. He does, I mean, he does all the right things both on and off the football field.
Well, he's only 3 yards behind. I think you're going to get to see it. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Leslie. That was a 37-yard pickup, and there it is. Peyton, Sanders, Dickerson, Dorsett, and soon to be Emmitt moving past Tony. This is Chris Warren taken down in the backfield for a loss of 4. Back to the 47 by Henri Crockett.
On the play before that, the big block came from Mark Stepnoski, the center that came over from Tennessee. Al, you talked about him earlier. He has really solidified the offensive line and has given Emmitt Smith an opportunity now to make runs up the middle just like that. It was a huge block in the middle. He took his man out of the play. And there he is, and there's Mark right there. He was here at the beginning, left for greener pastures, and now is back.
One of a kind. 2nd down and 15 from the 47. Aikman. Nowhere to go. Tackled for a loss of 1 at the 46. It'll be 3rd down and 16. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by the Wide Track Grand Prix by Pontiac. Wider is Henderson. Knee sprain, x-rays negative, gone for the night though. Deion Sanders not in uniform again. Eric Williams probably gone for the night. The tackle, and Rocket Ismail not to return. 3rd down and 16. And this is caught by Jeff Ogden, who takes it to the 43, but considerably short of the 1st down.
Again, it's another one of those passes where you don't throw the ball a full 16 yards, but as a quarterback in this league, you have to go through your progressions. When you get your playbook, it's in front of you, and it shows where you go when the defense plays it or how they play it. And you can see Troy going through his reads and taking the safe pass. Now it's up to Ogden to break some tackles. He breaks 1, but 3 Falcons make sure he doesn't make a 1st down this time like Rocket did earlier.
So he'll be going to punt. Tim Dwight back at the 10-yard line. Dwight calling for the fair catch and making it inside in the bucket. 1st down at the 7-yard line.
And here's Tony Graziani actually audibling at the line of scrimmage, signaling because it's so loud. There he is, one-on-one on the outside.
And that is caught by Mathis, and that's enough for a first down. Mathis against Mathis. Terrence working on Kevin. Again, with Kevin Mathis in there and Charlie Williams on the other side, they're regular corners, both gone tonight, Dion and Kevin Smith.
Well, these guys got torched last week by the Redskins, but the Redskins receivers are much bigger than the Falcon receivers. What I like is the fact that Graziani has had a tough first half. He's standing back there with the noise and everything and still audibling with signals. It's impressive.
Dion had toe surgery, and it's just taken a long time to mend, but he thinks he can get back after the bye week next week. This is Hanspart taking it up to the 20-yard line. One reason the Falcons went to the Super Bowl last year, they led the league in turnover differential. Dan Reeves' team was plus 20 takeaways versus giveaways. Eugene Robinson giving them the takeaway tonight as you look at Jack Burns, who calls the plays. An interception before by Robinson, by the way, was the 54th of his career. He leads all active players, but he's only 2/3 of the way to Paul Krause's all-time mark, so that's one that's safe. 2nd and 8 from the 20. Fumble. Graziani picks it up, and he's lucky he doesn't fumble again. Dexter Coakley is in there for the sack.
You can see 7 defensive players for the Cowboys in and around the line of scrimmage, and I could just figure Dave Campo probably read these guys the riot act this week for getting beat so badly in Washington, and they know that they're playing against a young QB who unfortunately fumbles the ball right here, now tries to make a play and loses track of what's happening around him. He was lucky to hold on to that football.
Graziani pointing to his helmet, indicating, give me the call, give me the play call. Dan Reeves is in his ear tonight. Reeves calling the play in. 3rd and 16, and he has to call a timeout.
And you could see why he called a timeout. I mean, the Dallas...
A good part of the evening.
The rest?
Yes.
They're getting after him, I'll tell you that right now.
After the timeout, and Atlanta's down to its sole timeout, and Dallas now has to take a timeout on 3rd and 16. That's a very unusual call. To burn a timeout here on 3rd and 16 after Atlanta takes the timeout.
Simple strategy for Dave Campo. There he is, the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, is, hey, look, they haven't shown us anything in the passing game to frighten us, to worry about our cover situation on the outside. So let's go after the quarterback. Let's get about 9 guys around the line of scrimmage and take away their running game and force Tony Graziani to be a factor tonight.
Well, you've got Travis Hall. We'll have to check on him, the defensive tackle. Walking it back. We had Tony Dorsett before, and well, it's Monday Night Football, so one of the great highlights in 30 years of MNF, as we call it, taking place back in 1983.
Big opening for Tony Dorsett. Look out, he's got great speed.
99 yards and a half.
Dorsett down the side.
Tony with a 99-yard touchdown, as after the timeout on 3rd down and 16, Graziani sidearm slings it, caught by Ronnie Harris, and it's short of the first down. Needed 16 and got about 14.
Whoa. You want to talk about courage in this league. Graziani knew that he was going to get whacked, and he sure did by Dat Wynn, the rookie from Texas A&M, an explosive young linebacker. Tony was rolling out to his left, and as he let go of the football, that wind just exploded into him.
Straczynski now to punt. This is his 4th kick of the half. Fair catch signaled for, made at the 31 by Wayne. Before the game, he had no idea. He said, hope you didn't jinx me. So far, so good. 2 have been fair caught tonight. 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Aikman throws, and it's behind Ernie Mills. 2nd and 10.
Interesting. That's where Rocket Ismail would normally have been. You see Tony Graziani right there trying to grip a football. Looked like he got whacked in the right hand by that win, but Mills probably doesn't get a lot of work with Troy Aikman now that the Rocket is here. So some of these balls are going to be a little bit off the mark. Normally you expect the player to get to a certain spot at a certain time, and when you're not used to working with one another, balls behind or balls in front or balls low or high can happen.
2nd and 10 from the gun. And It's given to a direct snap to Chris Warren is what it was there, and Warren doesn't fool anybody as he takes it up to the 35-yard line, and we took down to the 2-minute warning.
It probably didn't fool anybody because they saw it on film. It worked twice last week against the Redskins. Rich Brooks, the defensive coordinator, knows that. I'm sure they worked on this all week in practice and said, watch out for this in long yardage situations. And you could see the Falcon defense rising to the occasion again.
2-minute warning. Dallas 10 at Boomer Esiason. Leslie Visser. Dat Wynn playing in more and more defensively and will as the season goes on. Big play on the last series. 3rd down and 8 now. The 2-minute warning has come and gone, and Aikman tries to convert to keep the drive alive, and it is caught but short up at the 41-yard line by Ogden, tackled by Thibodeau. So it's 4th down and 1 now for the Cowboys at the 41, and Chan Gailey is going to be content to send the punting unit out on the field.
Well, I think right now the only chance for Atlanta to score lies in the hands of Tim Dwight. Their offense hasn't done much. They've been stalled. I think they've only gotten over the 50 one time. And here is, you remember Super Dave Osborne?
But of course.
HBO fame?
Of course.
This is the NFL's version of Super Dave right here.
Do you know that Super Dave is Albert Brooks' brother in real life?
You know what Albert Brooks' last name is?
I certainly do. It's a bouncing ball at the 20-yard line, and Dwight lets it go, and Dallas will wait for it to stop, and it does at the 7-yard line with a $1:04 to go in New York tonight at halftime. Chris Berman, let's check in with Chris.
All right, Al, thank you. Coming up on our Toyota halftime show here from our new home at the ESPN Zone in New York, our top 10 plays of the week, including 3 touchdowns in a half hour, quarterback who blocks and runs as well as he throws, and a San Francisco treat. Plus, we'll update Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire going head-to-head. Back to you in Big D.
.104 left in the first half as Atlanta has it at the 8-yard line. And a flag goes down as it's taken up to the 10-yard line by Hanspard.
False start. Number 69 offense moving prior to the snap. They have the distance to the goal. 1st down.
That was Gene Williams. And interestingly enough, watching Tobeck lifting his head on the snap, Gene Williams, who stands right next to Tobeck, should not be moving. Does not be paying attention to his center. And you'll see again, this is the snap of the ball is on the head lift of Tobeck, the center. There's the head up and snap.
1st and 14. Hanspard. Now Dallas can take a timeout, and they will at this point. Dallas will have 1 timeout remaining. Let's check in with Leslie.
Al, Rocket Ismail re-aggravated the shoulder sprain that he suffered in training camp. He had it treated. He was warming up on the sideline. He says he's going back in. Al.
So there he is, Rocket back out on the bench.
And you know the thing about that, Al, is that his teammates will respond to that. He'll gain great respect from his teammates by coming out of the locker room saying he wants to play. Everybody knows he's hurt. This is unfortunately the way that you gain respect in the NFL, is by dealing and playing when you're hurt.
Nice shot at leader, Chief. Thank you.
And on the other side of the coin, when the guys know you can play and you're not playing,
you got a problem.
Yes, you do.
You have a big problem. It's a macho league, and you want macho guys, and just the way it is.
Well, Deion truly is hurt, because if Deion was going to come back for any game, it was Monday Night Football. There's a reason they call him prime time, but he's just not ready. 2nd and 11 from the 7-yard line. Hanspard tugs his way up to the 12-yard line.
We were talking about Deion in the preseason, how interesting an injury he does have, and how unique of an injury he has.
He hurt it last November in a game against the Cardinals, and it's one of those things when you look in the paper and you see a guy's out with turf toe, you figure, well, what is that? First of all, it's an injury that is somewhat indigenous to artificial surfaces, but I don't have to tell you, we've seen enough of these things through the years to know you're looking sometimes at 6, 9 to 12 months until you're ready to play again.
But he actually had surgery on the toe. I actually have turf toe from playing all those years in Cincinnati, and it still hurts. And you can see right here what happens when Sanders and Leon Lett are out of the game, or when they play with each other.
Well, when Dion and Leon are in together, as you can see, they win almost 2 out of 3. With Sanders playing and Leon out, 2 over 500. With Leon in and Sanders out, they're at 500. And with both of them out, as they are tonight and were last week, that's the 1-0 last week against Washington. 3rd and 6 from the 12. And this is Hanspard after Dallas has taken its final timeout. He'll be short of the first down, but that will take almost all of the time off the clock. Not quite all of it. They're still going to have to run a play.
About a 3-second differential, I believe.
Now, this is one of the, it's a very interesting call here. You don't want to really punt it because of a block punt. I think what you want to do is take a snap, basically, but they're going to at least line up in punt formation.
And you know what they're going to probably do is they'll probably take a fair catch and then use what is really never used, a free kick.
Right.
I believe. So get ready for that.
Atlanta has a timeout left, and they take it right here with 1 second on the play clock and 5 seconds on the game clock. And then they'll figure out a way to.
Now, this is an interesting situation. If you kick the ball, you punt the ball to the receiving team fair catches the ball,
they get a free kick.
They can line up for a free kick, meaning that basically try to kick a field goal.
Absolutely, without the defense rushing in.
Exactly. So
Joe DeCamillis, who, as we mentioned before, is Dan Reeves' son-in-law, Joe Avezzano. DeCamillis is married to Dan's eldest daughter, Dana. They met at the University of Wyoming when Dan was coaching the Broncos. Joe told me they were dating 6 weeks. He had no idea who her father was. He walks into the apartment one night, and there's Dan's picture. He almost died. So here's Straczynski.
Now he's got himself a job.
Right.
It's great.
So here is one time Straczynski doesn't want a fair catch. He's going to angle it.
And he's going to get it.
Out of bounds, but it's going to be fair caught at the 48-yard line. However,
not enough time.
The period, if they would like, according to the rules, can be extended for a free kick. And I'm not sure
but they know that
either coach knows about it. But it's in the book that the period can be extended after a fair catch.
This is the first I've heard of that, too. I'm going to give you. You're a coach, Al.
Well, in the meantime, the teams are leaving the field. The Cowboys are leading at the half, 10-0. The Toyota halftime show coming up. We're back after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations. The second half, and Dwight fields it at the 1-yard line after the going kick. And good coverage. George Teague all the way down the field. Now, the first half ended with an Atlanta punt. It was fair caught by Dallas at the Atlanta 47-yard line. The rule is very simple. There it is. If a fair catch is signaled and made, which it was, receivers may choose to extend the period with one fair catch kick. That meant Cunningham could have attempted a 57-yard field goal without a rush. So he could have run up to the ball as if it was a kickoff and kicked it through the uprights. The only downside is it could be returned if the kick was short. But it's either a case of the Cowboys not knowing the rule or simply electing not to take the chance. In any event, what went by the boards was the opportunity for Cunningham to kick an uncontested, in terms of the defense rushing it, field goal. This is Hanspard for 3. Let's go to Leslie.
Al Changeli would have liked a little more offense. He's pleased with his defensive pressure on Tony Graziani, but he said offensively there are too many negative plays, too many 3rd and long. Dan Reeves said he's pleased with Tony Graziani, who is starting the second half of his NFL career. Eugene Robinson said coming off the field, we have got to win this game to show people why we belonged in the Super Bowl. Al.
Thank you, Leslie. 2nd down and 7. Both coaches from the town of Americus, Georgia, as it's sidearmed and caught up at the 23-yard line by Chris Callaway, a couple of yards shy of the first down.
You know, it's interesting, Alan, that fair catch kick rule. In all my years of playing in the NFL, I have never seen that play, but every coach that I had, maybe with the exception of one, went over it in meetings with us and talked about how this could be a game winner and why we have to practice this. And I would be shocked if the Dallas Cowboys did not know that rule.
I would too, and the reason is they actually called for the fair catch. Otherwise, if you don't know the rule, you would just let the punt bounce around. Why would you fair catch it to begin with and take the chance of fumbling the fair catch? This is Graziani rolling out, losing the football. It's loose at the 25-yard line, and the Dallas Cowboys have it.
It's a case of a player trying to do too much. That time he got out of the pocket. He was trying to go to Santiago on the other side, and he was covered, and he tried to make something out of nothing.
Alonzo Spellman recovers for Dallas.
There's a lot of pressure on this kid trying to play this game tonight, and he knows that he hasn't moved the football team, so he wants to make some plays. He knows that he has to get first downs to take the pressure off his defense. Right here, he should just tuck it away, put two in, or just throw it away. Quarterbacks are not great runners in traffic like that. And Greg Ellis made a heck of a play knocking that ball out.
First down, Dallas at the 26-yard line. Smith. It's taken down here by Shane Dronette.
I don't want to belabor the point, but going back to their fair catch free kick deal, one of the things that they might not know is the interpretation that you can extend the period. I'm sure that they know about the fact that you can kick a free kick. I was even caught off guard a little bit when you were going through the rule itself and telling me that they could actually extend the kick right here. And I don't ever really remember talking about that aspect of it.
Something that's rarely been seen, but they could have had Cunningham attempt a 57-yarder with a full run-up as if it was a kickoff. Second down and 8. A little dump off to Emmitt Smith out in the open field. And he gets taken down up at the 22-yard line by Archambault and Crockett.
I'm really impressed with the defense of the Atlanta Falcons. They're flying around. They're making plays. They realize that this game basically right now is hanging in the balance, and they have to make plays. You talked about it earlier, how they created turnovers last year. They were plus 20 in turnover differential. They realize now that the pressure is on them. They might have to score tonight.
Sure.
They probably are going to have to score.
Ismail is back in the game. There he is at the bottom of the screen. So he said he was going to come back in, and he doesn't lie. And on third down and 7, it's caught over the middle at the 15-yard line by Ernie Mills. And a first down. Rocket, Heisman Trophy winner at Notre Dame. There's a flag down. Then he played in the Canadian League to the Raiders, Carolina, and then picked up as a free agent.
This is courage right here by a receiver going over the middle. Troy throwing a nice accurate ball into his body, knowing that Eugene Robinson is out there looking to knock your head off.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 75, with a half the distance to the goal, first down.
Shane Dronette.
See Dan Reeves right there. One thing that will drive a coach crazy is a penalty like that.
He just said, come home, Shane.
That's exactly right. Get over here and get on the sideline and let me talk to you, son.
Ed Jasper into Spellman. First and goal from the 7. Emmitt, another touchdown. Among other things, adds to his rushing touchdown career mark and moves him past Dorsett into 4th place all time on the NFL rushing list.
Terrific blocks at the point of attack by Stepnoski and Allen this time. Watch the center and the left guard right here. Take on 2 guys, push everybody out of the way. And when you get down by the goal line, running backs like that know how to get in the end zone.
Cunningham for the point after. And turnovers doing Atlanta in again, as was the case last week when they coughed up 3 to Minnesota. 17-0 Cowboys. 6-0 hole, minus their starting quarterback, minus their starting running back. Chandler and Anderson both out as Tim Dwight from the 1 brings it back to the 19-yard line.
He is fun to watch, isn't he? and look who's there, Dat Nguyen. And we talked about him a little bit earlier, that he's found his way onto the nickel defense for the Cowboys. This is a player that makes plays. The NFL is always looking for guys like this. Last week he recovered a fumble. He always seems to get mixed up into something where the ball is coming his way or he makes big hits. And you can see he's a favorite of his teammates.
Dat Nguyen, whose family opened up a restaurant, honest to God, they call it Who Dat.
All right. Dat Nguyen, that's Who Dat.
Who Dat. First down at the 19-yard line.
You got the Cowboys on defense are all confused. I don't know why. I think anybody you throw out there right now for defense can stop the Atlanta offense.
That's on top 17-0. Falcons playing without Chris Chandler, their starting quarterback. Jamal Anderson hurt earlier. Emmitt Smith has scored 2 touchdowns tonight. And turnovers have helped do Atlanta in as they begin this drive from the 19-yard line. And this is Hansbart picking up 5 up to the 24. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Darren Hambrick in on the tackle.
Well, you're at an interesting point in this game. If you're not comfortable calling the plays for Graziani to give him an opportunity to throw the football down the field, sooner or later you're going to have to stop protecting him, or you're going to have to go to your next quarterback, which has some time in the league and has been a starter in this league, and Danny Cannell. You got to give this kid a chance to throw the ball down the field. And here comes the blitz again.
2nd down and 5. Hansbart. Darren Woodson leading the charge. George Teague is there. Will Chris Chandler play next week? Still to be determined. Talked to him before the game. He's moving okay, but you know, with the pulled hamstring, he's got 6 days to rest. They go to St. Louis next Sunday.
And they're a totally different team when he's on the field. He's an extremely effective quarterback. He's smart. The other thing about this offense of the Atlanta Falcons, it's long, it's wordy. You really have to know exactly what you're doing. And Dan Reeves doesn't like those guys to wear the wristbands with all the answers on it. He expects them to know it by memorization.
3rd down and 2. Graziani said he has no problem with that. When we talked to him last night, this pass is caught by Mathis up at the 32-yard line for a 1st down.
A little bit easier on 3rd and 2, but he's getting dropped almost every time he drops back the pass. And everybody in the NFL will tell you, get to that opposing team's quarterback, put him on the ground and put him down hard. At that time it was Pepe Zellner. This is a little zone read right here for him. He reads it correctly. He throws it right in the body for Terrence Mathis. A little bit easier to complete those passes when it's short yardage situations.
At the 32, 9:20 to go in the 3rd. Dallas up 17-0. Little toss to Hansford. They run a reverse. This is Mathis coming back the other way, but running out of room and belted out of bounds just about the line of scrimmage.
Somewhat of a feeble attempt, would you say, by Graziani to make a block there?
Yes, it was.
Should have watched number 7 from Buffalo last night.
Doug Flutie.
Oh boy, what a great block by Doug Flutie. And I mean, it's not fun doing this, but you can see right here at the bottom of your screen, here comes Tony.
Yep.
Teague does a nice job of fending him off, but we're not really told how to block. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Tony Graziani not quite looking like Rocky Graziano on that play. 2nd down and 10 at the 32-yard line.
He made an attempt. I've seen some quarterbacks just shy away totally.
Whistle before the snap.
It's the down clock, and you can see Graziani saying, I got the play off. That's exactly what he's saying there. I got it off before the clock expired.
Play a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Monday Night Football is being brought to you by the people inspired to build vehicles for your mind and heart. Nissan Driven. Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. And Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Great tradition here through the years. 2nd down and long. Graziani throws, and it's incomplete. Mathis was covered by Woodson. Darren Woodson, a key figure in that secondary, especially with the corners getting torched last week, playing better tonight. But Woodson is the main man back there, Pro Bowler.
Poor Darren Woodson. He's back there trying to direct traffic, and in a situation where there's a lot of 2-minute drills kind of stuff going on and balls flying all over the place, unlike tonight, like last week, he's back there trying to get everybody in the situation where they know what they're doing. Not an easy thing to do. We have young guys back there with you.
3rd down 15, spread, shotgun. Moving up front, and that's with the crowd noise, and that's Bob Whitfield. Uncommon mistake for a guy who's been to the Pro Bowl and was their #1 pick back in '92 out of Stanford.
So I talked
last. Number 70, offense, moving prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Early in the game, I was talking about how Tobeck was using his head to snap the football. Now all of a sudden they changed it, and Graziani, actually we can hear him up here, is calling the signal. So Whitfield is obviously not used to that. And we'll see if they go back to the center head bob for the snap. We'll see right here.
3rd down and 20.
Yep, that's what they're doing.
Tobeck made the line calls.
Step up.
Deep over the middle into traffic, nearly picked off. Intended for Harris. That's George Teague knocking it down. 4th and long. Steve DeBerg, whom I mentioned before, he was actually in uniform at the age of 44 last year.
And then got creamed by the Jets and decided, you know what?
Enough.
Enough is enough after a while. I saw that game. I was like, oh boy, I can't take this.
Yes, DeBerg serving as both a player and assistant coach last year, doing double duty as Straczynski's punt. Fielded by McGarity, the rookie at the 40, taken down almost immediately at the 42-yard line by Jeff Kelly. 7-50-0.
Got his baby Nips right there.
Yep. Looking to the concession stand. There's action up front here. Tom White making the call.
False start. Number 69, offense, moving prior to the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
And Fricky, he's seeing some action. Everett McIver's thing, and they've got Eric Williams out. So you've got Fricky and you've got Tony Hudson playing side by side at guard and tackle. Smith. When you look at the Falcons, last year Atlanta 14-2, won 2 playoff games, and then as you see Eugene Robinson, he had that, well, what do you call it? He had the contretemps on Super Bowl Eve last year when he got involved with an undercover police officer and was arrested and was able to play in the game the next day, but it was a tremendous distraction to the Falcons. Not that cost them the game against Denver. The Broncos were a better team. But they lose that game and now in danger of going 0-2 to begin this year. 2nd and 16 from the 36 as Aikman goes deep, and that's incomplete. Intended for Ismail.
They're going to call interference on Ray Buchanan. I don't understand this. It looked like he had perfect position. It was just a little hitch and go, Al, where they pumped it to Ismail and then they tried to get him around Buchanan. Buchanan had help over top also by Marty Carter, number 25, but this is a bad call, I believe.
Illegal contact. Number 34, defense. It's 5 yards. Automatic 1st down.
Al, he ran right into Buchanan, and you could see from up here at least, and we'll take a look right here. As Craig Janoff and Kenny Wolf give us these great pictures. Look at this. I don't really know how you could call that illegal contact. I mean, that was incidental contact, and he ran right into him.
One of those calls, in case you're wondering, not reviewable. 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. No judgment calls are reviewable on plays like that. Reeves with a scowl. Dan, last year when you look at the Falcons, they played in no game that was determined by fewer than 5 points, which is an oddity for any team in the course of a 16-game season. Thank God for Dan, otherwise he would have had quintuple surgery. I mean, to go through the season he did, and of course he became an inspiration to a lot of people around the country.
Well, you know, the thing about it is if you have 20+ in the turnover differential, you win your games by that short of a margin. Literally, many of those games go one way or the other. So you wonder how good the Falcons really are. Is 14-2 indicative of the talent on this football team? And right now, with Jamal Anderson and Chris Chandler on the sideline, this is not the same team. It certainly doesn't have the same feel about itself with its 2 stars injured. And there's Chris Chandler right there, and he has a hamstring pull. I asked him. I didn't even realize that he had hamstrings. But if there was ever a guy who knew about injuries, it's this guy here.
In the league for years, has played with 6 different teams, but has never played a complete season. I.e. made every start. First down at the 47-yard line. 4-yard gain for Emmitt Smith off a Tim Lester block.
And the interesting thing in thinking about the injury factor, you would have thought, and maybe the Falcons thought by getting Danny Cannell, that he was going to be their backup quarterback answer, but certainly that had not been the case coming into tonight's game, because Danny went down to the 3rd quarterback and Graziani was the 2nd quarterback. He's warming up, because I'm sure we'll start to see him now, and maybe he can get some of his confidence back and move the team a little bit tonight.
2nd down and 6, looking for any spark. Dallas ahead 17-0. Troy for 6. No. Good coverage on the play, going deep, intended for Ismail, and the Rocket covered by Ray Buchanan.
Terrific coverage by Buchanan that time.
Let's go to Leslie.
Al, on the mystery of the fair catch, according to one player, the Cowboys did not know the rule, and ironically, it would not have been Richie Cunningham, whose longest field goal is 54 yards. It would have been Tony Goen who would have attempted it. He once attempted a 63-yarder, but in the end, the Cowboys thought the time had run out. Alan Boomer.
So they didn't know the final interpretation of the rule, that they could extend the period.
They didn't know it, and Goen is their kickoff guy. He's their punter and kickoff guy. Cunningham does the place kicking, and he would have had a free shot at a 57-yarder.
Now, you know, he kicks off with a tee, and he kicks it from the 30 to the goal line. That's 70 yards. He probably could have had a shot at it.
Yep.
Why not take a shot at it, right?
Probably academic right now, but here on ABC. That's that done. Aikman throws on 1st down, and 3rd down rather, on 3rd and 6, and it's caught by Michael Irvin, but short of the 1st down.
I think they'll probably go for it. But, you know, talking of college football for a moment, Al.
Yes, sir.
The Beast of the East, Maryland, is back. 3-0, baby.
Maryland plays football?
Yes, they do. Yes, and they're back.
I thought that was a basketball. I thought you guys were a lacrosse school.
Well, get out. Basketball and lacrosse. Come on, we got one of the best basketball coaches in Gary Williams. Got a great women's lacrosse pro. It's great. Great place, and we're 3-0 in football. All right.
You guys played Division 1A opposition?
Yeah, we beat West Virginia this week.
All right. That's pretty good.
Ohio State played Ohio U. Who are you talking about?
Keep an eye on those Terps. 4th down and 1 for the Cowboys. Tom White wants the play clock to be restarted. Reeves saying, what in the world was that all about?
Why would you do that?
It's a good question.
And he has a right to argue, because why would you do that? I guess they figured that they were measuring, so they wanted to make sure that they gave Dallas an opportunity to call a play.
4th down 1 from the 38-yard line, and this is Emmitt Smith picking up the 1st down of the 36. Emmitt tonight now 20 carries for 87 yards.
It's got to be really tough if you're a defensive player for the Atlanta Falcons right now. There seems to be no life in your offense whatsoever, and you're going up against an offensive line that is enormous, to say the least, and you're looking at 326, 335, 330, 311 across the board, and they can lean on you, they can push you, they can shove you, and it's a long night for those defensive linemen of the Falcons.
1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Emmitt Smith playing in his 20th Monday night game, and boy, he loves the spotlight as Dan Reeves is still barking. Emmitt Smith, in 20 Monday night appearances, has now gone over 2,000 yards on Monday night. So he is a nocturnal star as well as a star in the sunshine and in any weather. A look at some of Emmitt's moves tonight, and if you think about it, 2,000 yards, 2 touchdowns tonight, and that means he averages on Monday Night Football about 100 yards per outing.
Well, the feet and the legs are moving and picking him up, and he looks good. He's got a lot of spring in his step.
Getting a career second win. 2nd down and 7 from the 33. Smith again. Rolled down at the 30-yard line. He's tackled there by Keith Brookings. Right up to the moment in the history of this series, we saw Tony Dorsett here. Thurman Thomas has had some fabulous games on Monday night. So did Marcus Allen and Franco Harris, and it would figure the stars come out at night, and there they are, the top 5.
And I'm sure Emmitt Smith, as all those running backs right there, will tell you that you need the help of an offensive line. And when Larry Allen is pulling in front of you, that is one big blocker, and I'd hate to have to take him on, and that's what Henry Crockett has had to do all night long.
3rd and 4. Smith again. Nothing happening. Packs in the black shirts, knocking him down just about at the line of scrimmage.
I probably would have thrown right there to make the 1st down, but I'm up here. I'm not on the sideline, but it seemed to me like they gave up there a little bit.
So Cunningham will settle for a field goal attempt. You know, lost in all of what happened last week in that miraculous 21-point comeback. When the score was 35-34, Cunningham's extra point bounced off the upright. I mean, can you imagine erasing a 21-point deficit and then seeing it go doink? It went doink, but it went through the uprights.
Nobody really made a big deal about that.
No, this is a 47-yarder, and he misses it. So they
Giants. Dan Reeves knows him very well and figures, you know, this is my guy.
38-yard line as Cannell throws, and that one is a little high, intended for Chris Callaway, a guy he knows very well from his days 3 years with the Giants.
So here you can see there's Danny Cannell, but you just saw a shot of Tony Graziani on the sideline.
He from Salam hurt.
Graziani, sometimes a change of venue, a change of scenery, getting out of under the big scope and the big picture can get a guy like Danny Cannell an opportunity to put his career back on track.
2nd down and 10. Cannell played his college football at Florida State. Pressure on. They blitzed from the outside, and it's dropped by Terrence Mathis. Had it, didn't have possession with both feet down, and it's incomplete. Covered by Kevin Mathis.
What a great play by Kevin Mathis. What a good throw by Danny Cannell. These are plays that Terrence Mathis usually makes, but this time the defensive back, Kevin Mathis, comes up with the big play. Right here you can see Terrence has it in his hands, and a strip by Terrence, Kevin, Terrence, I'm all over the place.
Well, Johnny just called and said chances are, never mind.
Well, the Cowboy stripped the ball out of the Falcons' hands. How's that?
3rd down and 10 from the 37-yard line.
Get rid of it.
Cannell under pressure. Down he goes at the 28-yard line. Darren Woodson on a safety blitz.
You have to see the blitzes. You have to know where to go with the football when the blitzes are coming at you. You don't have much of a chance to sit in there and make decisions. He comes from the right side of your screen, number 28. Watch, here he comes, unblocked. Danny Cannell should see him or feel him and get rid of the football. Quarterback's job and responsibility is to see that and react and either get rid of it and not take the sack or complete a pass and hopefully the receiver make a play.
Woodson's perfected it. That's the 10th sack of that safety's career. Straczynski's kick is fielded at the 26-yard line by Wayne McGarity. There's a flag down as the rookie from Texas brings it out to midfield.
There's the push in the back.
A little push in the back. Guaranteed. It's almost like a recording. (17 ticks).
10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Izell Reese, Joe Avizano is there. We go to Leslie.
It is the home opener against his former team. No one would rather be on the field than Deion Sanders. But Deion, how close are you to getting back?
I'm getting pretty close. I've been working very hard at practice, just trying to get back in all phases of my game, but it's coming close.
How much do people need a left toe?
Excuse me?
How much do people need a left toe?
More than you would ever imagine.
What can you do and what can't you do right now?
I could do quite a bit, but I'm not as cutting up to my capability right now. I'm not my old self at this time. Watch out. There you go.
Well, we'll look for you soon. Back to you guys.
It's over.
All right, thank you, Leslie. We're sure to see Dion the next time we see the Cowboys, which will be on Monday, October 18th, a night game at New York, and that's where he had that Hall of Fame night last season. That's the end of the third quarter. The Cowboys lead 17-0. And Monday Night Football from Texas. Cowboys are pretty calm so far, leading 17-0. Second down and 7 as we start the final quarter. And the pass is dropped the far sideline as Wayne McGarity tried to haul it in and couldn't.
Well, Wayne can return punts, but he's got to hold on to balls like that. The ball was perfectly thrown and give him a chance to catch the ball and not take such a vicious hit. It was thrown low, and got to make those plays.
Numbers through the first 45 minutes of competition look like this.
That's balance in rushing and passing as far as the Falcons are concerned, but
it is.
Just haven't moved the ball at all.
It's been a game dominated by Dallas, and yet the yardage is fairly even. I mean, Atlanta just can't get anything going offensively. It's third down and 7, and that is incomplete. McGarity couldn't handle that one either, covered by Bradford. If you're a Falcon fan, all right, the one thing, if the team is 0-2, you're a little dispirited right now. However, Chandler might be back next week. Jamal Anderson, we don't know, but at least it wasn't a serious injury. And the one good thing for the Falcons is their next 6 games are against teams that were under 500 last season.
One thing we know now is that don't take last season into account for anything.
Yes, you're right.
And these guys are the hunted now. Teams want the piece of this team.
Toby Goins' kick. Dwight calls for the fair catch. Makes it at the 32 years. Gorgeous skyline as Danny Cannell on first down throws, and that's caught by Brian Kozlowski out of the University of Connecticut, the NCAA basketball championship school.
Nice throw by Danny that time, right in the face of pressure, knowing that he has to deliver the ball quickly. He has to put some steam on it, and maybe this will give him a little jump start. See right here, he puts the steam on it as he's getting hit by Kavika Pittman. Kozlowski goes up across the middle. Courage and a little stupidity, maybe, to go across the middle and catch the ball like that.
Whatever combination.
Whatever it is.
Cannell throws. That's caught by Mathis at the 50-yard line. Pickup of about 7, tackled by George Teague. Monday Night Football being brought to you by Dodge. Do not follow, do not conform, be different. Budweiser, made with the freshest all-natural ingredients for a brewery fresh taste. Monster.com. There's a better job out there.
No, there's not.
No, there's not. And Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. Hanspard to the 46-yard line. It'll be third down and 2. Charlie Williams with the hit.
I've always felt when we were in a game and things weren't going well and you were down and you were kind of like frustrated and you're flustered, and you need a play, and I always try to pick the tempo up. I tried to force the other players in the huddle to come on, let's go, let's keep moving, let's not just settle down here and take what's happening tonight, let's make something happen.
If nothing else, just give you a little running start to next week. Third down and 3 from the 47-yard line.
Up tempo.
Cannell throws underneath to Christian. He picks up a first down, bomb to the 40-yard line.
See, this is a situation now where they can get in and out of the huddle quickly, put the pressure on the Dallas defense, and make something happen quickly. Force Dallas to show their hands as well a little bit. They don't seem to me like urgent enough.
Well, what mitigates against it, of course, is the number 3 quarterback who hasn't taken that many snaps, and the number 2 running back. The Chandler out, Graziano out, who took most of the snaps last week, and Anderson out.
And here he is audibly now. He's reading the defense. A good job by Danny Cannell. This is a chance for a big play.
From the 39. Pressure. And instead it's a big play for Dallas. Another one. Chad Hennings.
He read the defense perfectly. He had Callaway running down the middle of the field. He knew where he wanted to go with the football, but you need to have time. See, right, he reads the blitz. You can see the outside guys coming, and here comes the pressure, and Hennings gets free up the middle. Oof. You got to be stout in the middle like that.
And timeout is right.
Sure they will.
Second down and 19 for the Atlanta Falcons at the 48-yard line. After the Atlanta timeout, Danny Cannell throwing it out to Santiago, and the tight end is tackled at the 40-yard line. Well, this upside down beginning to the NFL season can be illustrated in a number of ways, but perhaps none better than there. Denver and the Jets, the AFC Championship game participants last year, each 0-2. Atlanta 0-1, going to 0-2 shortly, and Minnesota with the only victory in the 7 games played thus far.
Minnesota will be fine. Those other 3 teams are missing quarterbacks and running backs.
Third down and 10. And Cannell throws, and it is Santiago. It is an incomplete pass. Hit the ground. Boomer, you could be looking. You can't be looking at any worse than 1-7 because 2 of the teams played each other, Minnesota and Atlanta. So somebody had to win the game, and that's Minnesota's win.
Well, you know, when you think about what's happening in the league right now, everybody talks about how it changes week to week, but really, in reality, it changes minute by minute. Injuries happen. Catastrophic injuries when you think about what happened to the New York Jets with Wayne Corbett, Leon Johnson. And you could see right here that the Falcons again are having trouble getting players in, personnel in, making calls.
4th and 19, and they burn another timeout.
Indicative of using a 3rd-string quarterback.
Don't get me started on stockbrokers. I had one for the better part of 10 years. Let me.
Boomer.
No.
That's a Van Gogh if I've ever seen one.
Last week we had my clone.
Yep.
This week, that's a picture of your buddy Alex Wallow if I've ever seen one. That is not me. And that might even be a drawing by Alex Wallow. How do I know that it's not?
No, that's a Van Gogh. That's a Harvey Van Gogh.
At least I have better teeth this week than I did last week.
Yes. After the Atlanta timeout, it is 4th down and 19 from the 39-yard line.
A lot of pointing and shifting and stuff going on out there. A lot of guys are confused.
Cannell picked off at the 15-yard line. Izell Reese. And he runs it back out to the 38, which is just about the original line of scrimmage.
I sense that Danny Cannell felt like it was 4th down, and he had to throw it, and he threw it past the sticks. And you're looking at that and looking at that situation right there with Dan Reeves. Danny Cannell made the wrong assumption. Terrence Mathis was going straight up the field, but it's 4th and 10, and you got to get rid of the ball, especially in the heat of the traffic like that.
First down from the 39. Dan Reeves, ever the teacher, as Emmitt Smith picks up a yard or 2. Dan, of course, learned under Tom Landry, and when you go back to Dan's roots here in Dallas after growing up in Georgia, going to school at South Carolina, he loves, as do all of Tom's old players, Tom Landry, who is still battling leukemia, but happy to report Tom showing up the other night for his 75th birthday. Tom Landry. There he is, remembered, of course, the Ring of Honor here, the fabled hat. Their only coach for 29 seasons, their first 29. Emmitt Smith tonight nearing 100 yards, 25 carries for 98, 2nd down and 8. Emmitt trying to go into triple figures. Nope, not here. Lost to 1. In the meantime, one of the reasons Emmitt's having such a big night, the guys up front, Boomer.
Yeah, take a look at Larry Allen right here. We've seen this play over and over again tonight. It's a little trap play where Larry Allen pulls. And you can see right there, Henri Crockett has had to run into that truck all night long. And Emmitt Smith just gets right on his hip and follows him right into the hole right there. And when you talk about one of the best offensive linemen in football, it's because you have a man of that size who's about 335 pounds with the athletic ability to be able to pull out and run and let your little running back get in behind him.
Play guard, play tackle, go to the Pro Bowl as either. 3rd down and 9, and that pass is incomplete. Flag down. Ernie Mills was the intended receiver.
I think you're going to have interference here.
Against the Falcons.
Now it steamrolls you. It really just doesn't stop, especially when you're missing your best players.
Pass interference. Number 21, defense. That's a first down.
Elijah Williams. Week 3 coming up in the NFL next week, Sunday night on ESPN. The matchup is from Foxborough. The New York Giants going in to face the 2-0 Patriots, coming off that thrilling win yesterday against Indianapolis, down by 21 at one point. And we go to Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. Steve Young and the 49ers against the Arizona Cardinals on Monday Night Football. And Emmitt Smith takes the ball to the 49-yard line, and that'll put Emmitt into triple figures.
You talk about the 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. That ball is going to be flying all over Sun Devil Stadium next week with Steve Young and Jake Plummer. And then how do you figure the Giants? I mean, they go down and they play Tampa. They play them tight. They look good. And then the Redskins, who have a former Vikings quarterback, now look like they have the Viking offense of last year. Brad Johnson is playing great and looking good, and the Redskins could be back on top in this NFC East.
Well, they could very well be 2-0, blowing that 21-point lead to Dallas, second down and 4. Smith now with 103 yards, trying to add a few more. Stop for no gain by Keith Brooking. Emmitt Smith, during his illustrious career, which will Sunday be recognized officially as a Hall of Fame enshrinee, with tonight his 57th 100-yard game. So Peyton, as you can see, atop that list. Sanders, temporarily retired, is next. Dickerson, Brown, and Emmitt Smith.
Now, the interesting thing about Barry Sanders as he sits out, we hear from his agent. We've heard from his father. Just once I want to hear from Barry Sanders and hear what he has to say.
Well, that's what Chuck Schmidt, the general manager, has basically said. Third down and 4. And this is Emmitt Smith taking it to the 44. The Detroit Lions are one of the great stories in the league. And in fact, we wanted to talk to Bobby Ross tonight about the Lions at halftime. And Bobby, knowing that the thrust of it would have to be about Barry Sanders, is trying to keep his team focused and declined to want to do the interview, knowing where it would have to go.
Right.
And it's a very interesting situation, obviously, because nobody's heard from Sanders. You're hearing a lot from David Ware, his agent. You're hearing from other people surrounding him as Emmitt Smith goes off getting dinged here. And nobody seems to know any answers right now. And all kinds of rumors are floating around as Warren is down. There is no fumble. He takes it to the 31-yard line. It'll be a first down, and the play is dead.
Yeah, it's a real shame. If Barry Sanders doesn't want to play for the Detroit Lions, I want to hear Barry Sanders say that.
Well, this is what everybody's waiting to hear right now.
I've had problems myself with teams, and I have been out there and I've said, hey, this is what the deal is. Now, this last play was close to being a fumble, but one of the reasons that it would probably not be ruled a fumble is because the official had already pointed him down. This looks like it should be a fumble. Yes, it is a fumble, right? But from our vantage point, the official pointed him down. Thus, it is not reviewable. Aikman. That's thrown out of bounds. And it'll be second down 10. But the Lions, notwithstanding, and I have to think, Boomer, in a certain regard, and you tell me about this, I have to think some of the Lions are almost fueled by the chance to say, hey, wait a second. You know, everybody thinks we're the dregs of the league. We don't have Sanders. It's a mess when training camp starts. You got this whole circus going on around that team, and you're 2-0. Hey, you knew Charlie Batch was going to be better. The biggest jump that any player makes is from his first to second year. Charlie looked poised as a rookie last year. He's poised to become one of the better quarterbacks in this league. Hey, when you lose your best player, you find out how good you are and how motivated you can be. And I played for Bobby Ross, Al, and he is a terrific coach. And I just can't understand the fact that Barry Sanders would not talk to him. I don't get it either. Here's a reminder, Tuesday. What do you think I retired? I don't have to worry about defenses anymore. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. VCR library? Absolutely. Come on, this is great. That's why I told you I'm not going to call monster.com. Third down and 10. From the 31-yard line, Aikman. One fake going deep, and then what an interception made by Buchanan. He's going to run it out of the end zone. He finishes has to do it to score. Yep. And so Buchanan will put it down in the end zone and have it taken out to the 20, runs it back out to the 24.
Chris Warren.
There's a player that's not quitting at all, and you can see what a great play he makes on a poor throw by Troy Aikman. Troy needed to throw that ball inside.
Ray Buchanan, one-time Colt, at the school at Louisville, now in his 7th season in the league. Danny Cannell on the center at the 25-yard line. Flags down, action up front, pass is incomplete.
And that will be offsides on the defense.
In the lead. Jerry is the cover boy. Some folks make the cover of Esquire, GQ. Jerry makes the cover of Forbes.
Number 99.
Current
Defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Bob Whitfield is the Cowboy, or the Falcon, who is shaken up and needing the attention. But Jerry, in that issue of Forbes, they do the rankings of all of the franchises in the league, and of course subject to different sorts of bookkeeping rules and all of the rest of it. But for the record, in that issue, the Cowboys are valued at $663 million. They'd be the most valuable franchise in the league according to Forbes.
He's the new breed of owner. He's a part of that. Has spent a lot of money to get this franchise where it is and to win Super Bowls.
And you have Washington valued as the second franchise. Of course, Dan Snyder buying that team, including the stadium. The Buccaneers are third, but you look at the rankings, the least valuable franchise in the league, according to the chart, the Detroit Lions.
They have all their money tied up in cars.
Well, the value is now up after the last 2 weeks. A lot of that has to do with their current stadium deal.
Right, exactly. And Jerry Jones is one of the new owners in this league that have, I guess you could call him a little bit of a maverick. To say the least, right?
Well, he's had a lot of very good ideas. There's no question about that.
But remember one thing, that the Dallas Cowboys are the Dallas Cowboys because there are the Cincinnati Bengals, there are the Cleveland Browns, there are the Pittsburgh Steelers. You wouldn't want to see the Dallas Cowboys continuing to play the Washington Redskins every week, would you? Something to ponder there for a second, Alice.
Ponder we will. 1st and 5 from the 30, and that's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Byron Hanspard.
Take a look at Atlanta tonight. They have 11 possessions, 7 punts, 3 turnovers, a missed field goal. And the deepest they've gotten into Dallas territory, the 32-yard line.
A partridge and a pear tree. Only time the Falcons shut out in the 90s, 6-0 in Chicago 6 seasons ago. Meanwhile, Dallas has pitched 4 shutouts in the 90s, 2 of them on Monday Night Football.
And this defense has just been absolutely, I guess, insulted to the max this whole week after their showing last week in Washington. And tonight they catch a break. No Jamal Anderson, no Chris Chandler, and they do what they're supposed to do: shut out the other team, play aggressive. And they got after young Tony Graziani early in the game, and now they just have to sit back and look for balls and try to make pickoffs.
1st and 10 at the 37.
Here they come again.
Cannell dumping it at the feet of the intended receiver. Well, they're doing it without Chandler and Anderson. On the other side, we've talked about Dion and Leon Lett, and the Leon Lett story. I'm sure you've read about it, most of you. The fact that he again is suspended, 3rd time in his career. He's a great player, but he's had a major drug problem, and he violates the league's substance abuse policy, and he's gone for half the season. Paul Tagliabue sits him down for 8 games.
It's an amazing story. In 95 it was 4 games. In 96 the final 3 games. 97 the first 13 games. That was his year suspension. And now in 99 the first 8 games. 2nd and 10. Play clock running out. People getting too many breaks. And Commissioner Tagliabue took a lot of mitigating circumstances into account. It took a long time for him to make a decision.
That's an incomplete pass, arm moving forward.
And really, when I look at it, I say, you know what? There must be other circumstances associated with this that I'm not aware of to allow the commissioner to make a decision that was a compassionate one.
Well, you're right about one thing as we look at Cannell's arm moving forward again. I mean, there's the real world and then there's the fantasy world, and the world of sports is a bit of the fantasy world, because clearly if you're in a number of other professions in this country and you do what Leon Lett has done, you're gone. Goodbye. You're fired.
Right.
3rd and 15.
Remember, too, that the NFL considers itself having the toughest drug policy in professional sports.
This is caught at midfield. Ronnie Harris, and he takes it into Dallas territory.
Nice throw by Danny Cannell, running against the grain and throwing it back across the middle. One of those plays that Dan Reeves likes to kind of manipulate the field space and use his quarterback's arm strength to be able to make plays down the field.
1st and 10 at the 45-yard line.
See right here, running to the right and throwing back against the grain. Normally quarterbacks are not going to do that, but that's a designed play in the Dan Reeves offense. And here comes the blitz again.
Cannell goes down again. Cannell slow and rising. Darren Woodson on the safety blitz.
You know, get back to that Leon Lett situation for a second. The league does have a tough anti-drug policy. It also has a drug education policy that every player gets put before him before every season. Every player knows when the initial drug test is. Leon Lett is in stage 3 of his drug rehab. He gets tested randomly 10 times a month. This is a league that cares, and it's a league that's trying to rid itself of this particular problem. But it's in all facets of society, like you said, Al.
2nd down and 10. Again, Cannell is on his back, and it's caught. It is caught by Tim Dwight. And he scores as Atlanta finally gets on the board. Darren Woodson with the coverage got spun around, and Dwight is able to haul it in and take it into the end zone.
What a terrific play by Danny Cannell. You see George Teague right there, number 31. He was blitzing out of the secondary, and as Danny Cannell was getting ready to release the ball, hit him. For Danny to stand in there and throw the ball accurately, he allows Super Dave right here to go up and make a play for him. And what a nice throw by Danny Cannell in the face of pressure. Right here, watch George Teague, number 31, come flying in there. Quarterbacks know that they're going to get hit. They have to be able to deliver the ball like that.
And it's Dwayne Hawthorne on the other end. Dwayne Hawthorne, the defensive back, not Woodson, who got spun and beaten on the play. And it's Anderson for the point after with 4 minutes left in the 4th. So all of a sudden, it's a 10-point game with 4 minutes to play.
Well, you never know, Al. And right here again, you can see Danny Cannell knowing, just moving a little bit to his left. Let your athletes go make plays. If Callaway makes a play, the first play of the game, similar to this. And there's Dwayne Hawthorne. You know, he knows that he should have made the play on that football.
There is Jamal Anderson, ready for the plane ride home.
Well, it'll be good news for the Falcons if this kid is not injured, and they can get him back in a couple of weeks, maybe even next week if it's not that severe, and knowing that they can get Chandler and he back into the lineup. But Danny Cannell certainly trying to light a fire under his teammates right now. Oh, and here comes the old onside kick right.
Pretty just there with
there they come right there, baby. Watch these guys. 100 miles an hour at 7 guys waiting for him.
The Wild Bunch.
There it is, up in the air.
By Hopper, all kinds of action. And it is Dexter Coakley who comes up with it. So he has an interception and a nice play here to keep possession for the Dallas Cowboys.
Usually you don't see the plays come off that cleanly for the kicking team. And that time, Morton Anderson made the perfect kick. He got the ball to go high in the air. They kick it down into the ground, and here they come, the posse.
And here is,
and they're coming to get the football. And look, you could see this. It's just one collision after the next, and how well it looks like Coakley takes it out of number 51's hands.
Jeff Kelly.
What a play by Dexter Coakley.
Almost a jump ball, and the 5'10" Coakley comes down with it. Now on first down, it is Chris Warren. Flag comes in at the end. Adams. Meanwhile, Shane Gailey has watched Emmitt Smith go back to the locker room with a sprained left ankle.
Oh, man.
And we'll try to get an update on that. And Chris Warren is in the backfield. First down to 20 from the 43-yard line. Warren again. Coming over after several great seasons at Seattle for a gain of 5. Let's go back and look at that onside kick attempt again.
Look at this. You know they're coming after you. Oh, my goodness. Ouch. Well, you know, when the coach used to call the hands team, I'd walk to the other side of the field and say, see you, coach, I'm not on that baby. And that's the reason why. There are about 5 of those guys in the front that are told you just hit anything in a different color jersey. Then the guys following them are trying to clean up the trash and try to find the ball any way they can.
It's a lot of fun, especially on artificial turf. Oh, boy. 2nd down and 16 at the 47-yard line. Warren, when he left Seattle, the leading ball carrier in Seahawks history, to the 48-yard line, 3rd and long.
Falcons are going to call timeout here. And I've seen a lot of high school coaches in my time really give all they can of their own lives to make young men better.
Well, and especially Hightower has really molded 2 not only great coaches, but real gentlemen. Jason Tucker stopped at the 45. In fact, I mean, there are so many angles to that coaching matchup tonight, as we tell you about Dharma and Greg, which makes it season premiere tomorrow. Great.
So congratulations, Leslie.
Way to go, Les.
She didn't tell anybody. I had to go undercover, super secret.
Oh, you did?
Super secret undercover to find that out.
So why did I have that note under my door this morning?
Well, she didn't give
you guys a ticket.
It was raining. It was the day of the hurricane, I believe.
It was. It was. Thank you for that.
You're welcome, Leslie.
It's 4th down. Tom White with the play clock having expired.
No.
That's exactly what the Falcons would need at this point in the game.
You never know.
A little more than 2 minutes to play. Toby going to kick it. Falcons try to block it, of course, as they send 9.
What a horrendous pick that is.
Short one, and it takes an Atlanta bounce and is down to the 33. So that's where the
Falcons. There's Dandy Don. There you go.
Still holds a mark or shares the mark that exists to this day. Dan with 6 catches, 2 touchdown receptions, 2 on the ground. Dallas beat Atlanta 37-7. Talking about Reeves and Gailey, they grew up not necessarily together because Dan is 8 years older than Gailey, but when Dan was in high school and legendary in his hometown of Americus, about 15 years old, and Shan would have been 7. Shan was playing in a youth baseball league, and Dan was helping to coach that team, and he remembers the first time he ever saw Shane Gailey.
Freckle face. Yep. Opie Taylor looking like first guy that always showed up too, right?
Glove over his shoulder. This is Hansford on a draw to the 40. The Falcons do not have a timeout.
Now the Cowboys have to be careful here. This is usually a situation where you see defenses in prevent situations, and usually the center of the field is open.
2nd and 3.
And you don't want the defense just to sit back and not get onto the quarterback. Here's one of those plays where he'll throw back against the grain, probably.
Right off the street into coverage.
Oh, and he's got it.
Somehow it is taken by Mathis, double team, and it's one of these fluky, crazy situations where all of a sudden you've got a 1st and goal.
You have to be careful on defense not to get lackadaisical, not to become complacent. Danny Cannell is going to try to stop the clock, but look at this throw. He just throws it up, and the defenders are right there to make the play, and they don't make it.
Well, 1:10 remaining. Now Cannell starts to walk off, but remember, you've got no timeouts.
And you're going to have defense offsides right now as well.
That's the call against Dallas. Because the ball was signaled ready for play, and the Cowboys were not lined up.
And this is a situation where not much time is going to be lost off the clock. I'm figuring that they'll throw into the end zone each and every time they're down here, so at least they'll get a field goal. But look at this right here. Teague and Hawthorne are right there. Hawthorne's got to make the play on that. But this is the way momentum switches in a game like this. And what a terrific job of concentration by Terrence Mathis. Goes right through both of their hands. Terrence makes sure that he's inbounds first.
1st and goal at the 4.
And almost looks like the Dallas is a little bit confused all of a sudden.
This would be the flukiest, most unbelievable comeback win I could imagine. Rolling out is Cannell, throwing, and it's incomplete. Intended for Callaway with Kevin Mathis covering on the play. It's the kind of game where, I mean, Atlanta needs flukes to win.
Well, we also talked earlier that their defense had to keep them in, give them a chance, keep the game relatively close. Now 17-0 into the fourth quarter is not that way, but so a little rollout, get away, and try to throw into the back of the end zone, give Callaway a chance to make a play. But good coverage.
Second down goal. Trips right. Cannell goes that way. That's tipped, and that's incomplete.
Well, he fired that ball. I don't think Terrence Mathis had a chance to catch that. It's like a Nolan Ryan fastball coming at you.
Third down and goal.
Third down and goal.
Little touch, please. Just take it easy. Throw it to my... Watch how he whistles this football. He puts everything into it. He actually has Terrence open. Just throw it down by his body, and you got a touchdown. But again, it's a third-string quarterback. He's not comfortable in the pocket right now. And he's going to throw the ball hard and high like that to avoid the interceptions if, in fact, his own receiver cannot make the play.
Brandon Noble tipped it. Third down and goal. Hands guard in motion. Pass. Taken out of the air by Greg Ellis.
Look at him motor. Oh,
Greg
my goodness.
Ellis, the defensive end.
Oxygen, please.
Touchdown, Dallas.
Woo, boy.
What a bizarre ending.
Al, you want to know why that play happened? It happened because the Dallas defense didn't rest. It came after Danny Cannell, and it forced him into a bad play. Oh, my goodness. Take a look at the defense. Here they come. That's Woodson in your face, and there's Ellis. Really, I guess, the new leader on this defensive line, if you think about it. He had 2 huge plays last week against the Redskins, and look at the speed of this guy. Oh, my goodness. 6'6", 290 pounds. He had a sack for a fumble recovery last week in the red zone against the Redskins, and makes a play like this. Welcome to the Dallas Cowboys, Greg Ellis. There's your new defensive line leader.
87-yard return for a touchdown. And so after a few hearts have been stopped here in Dallas, watching a sure victory all of a sudden get into a very perilous pose, Greg Ellis ends it.
Well, you're in the prevent defense, you throw the ball up, your players don't make a play on it, and all of a sudden your defense decides, you know what, we can't just sit back here. We can't let them operate without putting pressure on them. And when the blitz came, the interception happened. Give a lot of credit to Dave Campo for calling the blitz down there in the red zone.
There is the Cowboy defensive coordinator.
You think everything's going your way and everything's fine. You got it all wrapped up, and all of a sudden, bang, it happens.
Could you imagine?
Sure.
Yeah, for the point after.
And the way this season's going?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But that would have been the all-time improbable comeback.
Who knows?
But the Falcons hung in, stayed in it until the very last minute of the game. As it turns out, and with 46 seconds left, Dallas finally cements the win.
Go figure. Wow.
And so the Falcons will fly back to Atlanta, go to St. Louis next week, having lost as many games already in 1999 as they did in all of 1998, when they finished with a mark of 14 wins and 2 defeats. And the Cowboys will get off to a 2-0 start on top in the NFC East and get ready for a bye week, and then a visit from the Arizona Cardinals a week from Sunday.
And the bye week probably couldn't come at a better time right now, with Emmitt Smith a little bit banged up and Deion Sanders an extra week. Ooh, boy.
The Atlanta Falcons, they just they don't like Mondays very much, as you can see. Not only will they have lost 9 consecutive games since 1981, but most of them have been blowouts. Go back to 1984. Remember that one real well. That's the 49er lost 41-3. Losses to the Cowboys and the Steelers in 92 and 93. 49er rout in 96. Well, and tonight.
The only thing I can tell you is that 0-2 is not the end of the world, and if you can get your players back, Jamal Anderson and Chris Chandler, you still got a shot. You got a long way to go.
That kickoff was from deep in Cowboy territory because of a penalty for excessive celebration. The Cowboys can begin their official celebration in 41 seconds.
I'll tell you what I would do in this situation, Al, as an Atlanta Falcon. I would throw the Hail Mary a few times. You're close to the end zone here. You got nothing to lose. Throw it up and let's see if one of your players can make a miraculous catch. Why not?
At this point,
anything can happen, right? Doesn't look like they're going to do that. It looks like they're going to run their basic offense. They might run a screen or something, but
Cannell fires to the far side. Again, they don't have a timeout, so that stops the clock as Harris is out of bounds at the 32-yard line. We will see the Falcons twice more on Monday nights the rest of the way in the middle of the season against Pittsburgh at Three Rivers. And then they'll wrap up the season against San Francisco in the Georgia Dome on January 3rd, 2000.
Pittsburgh pulled out a tough one against Baltimore yesterday. They are now 2-0.
2nd and 1 here. 32-yard line. And Cannell setting up the screen, and that's off the hand of Tansport. We will also see the Dallas Cowboys twice more on Monday nights this year against the Giants in the Dion revisit at Giant Stadium in October.
Well, the first thing I can tell you right now, this is maybe a message to the Giants more than anything. Don't kick the ball to Deion Sanders. So the Giant punter, Brad Maynard, don't kick the ball to Deion Sanders.
Not after last season.
Right.
This will be the first time since the Super Bowl came into existence following the '66 season that each of the Super Bowl participants will have started the subsequent season with records of 0-2. That's what we got.
That's salary cap. That's injuries, and it's parity is really what it comes down to.
There you go. You take a look at the Super Bowl teams that started 0-2. One little thing here was the Giants in 1987. The Giants, and there it is again. The Giants in '87 started 6-9, or finished 6-9. They started 0-5 that year, but under mitigating circumstances. That was the year of the strike. They were 0-2 with the real guys, and 0-3 with the others.
We were 4-11 that year. I think we were 1-1 with the real. I don't know what we were with the real guys. I don't even remember that year. That's long gone from my memory.
Cannell, and he just gets swatted down by Pepe Zellner. And that's the way it will end as the Atlanta Falcons drop to 0-2 and the Dallas Cowboys come from behind win against Washington and follow it up with a 24-7 victory over the Falcons. And so only 3 undefeated teams in the NFC after 2 weeks. The Lions and Cowboys at 2-0 and the Rams at 1-0. 24-7, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Falcons. We'll be back in a moment with the play of the game.
Does this look like France to you?
Computer says we're over Paris.
But that's a yak. Didn't you check that computer out before you bought it?
No. Why?
Before you buy technology products, read the reviews on CNET.com.
Oh, look, there's the Eiffel Tower.
Adios, Oscar. See you. Oscar, I got your favorite, your Big Mac. Gotta go.
Two all-beef patties, special sauce.
Is anyone here? A little help, Julio!
Only the legendary taste of a Big Mac sandwich can stop a champion. Did somebody say McDonald's?
To wrap it up at Texas Stadium, let's take a look at the CNET.com play of the game. And when a defensive lineman struts 87 yards, it is the play of the game. Greg Ellis, all of a sudden with a score 17-7, and the lead somewhat in peril. This wrote a finish to Dallas's victory. Ellis motoring 87 yards with a Danny Cannell interception to wrap it up and win it by a score of 24-7. And we go to the field in Leslie.
Allie says he's not banged up, that he's all right, and that he is. 108 yards, 2 touchdowns, more than 2,000 yards on Monday night, and the 4th all-time rushing list. You must have been very busy tonight.
It was a challenging night. Atlanta came out in their defense and played very, very good defense, in my opinion. They got to be some of the fastest guys I've seen on the football field that fly around the ball. At one point in time, I came into one of the defensive backs. I said, you guys are all over the field, and you guys are making my job hard, and which it really was. And they was giving our guys problem up front. We lost 2 guys on the right side of the ball, but we were still able to hang in there together as a ball club and fight it out.
Absolutely did it without Big E. Really impressive. Talk about is the demise of the triplets of you and Michael and Troy grossly premature.
Discuss that because there's a bunch of people out there that think they know it all when they really don't know much at all, and they just showing how truly ignorant they really are. They don't really know the game. The game don't evolve just around a running game or a passing game or a wide receiver. You got to have a lot of people in sync and a lot of people on the unit that's going to contribute, because we can't do it by ourselves. And not one time have you ever heard me say I can run the football without the 5 guys up in front of me, or Torrey Aikman throwing the ball down to Michael Irvin. Not one time have you ever heard me say that. And you'll never hear me say that, because this is a team sport. It's not no I sport. And, a lot of people have the tendency to think that because you have a great year that you're supposed to come back and duplicate the same year. It's kind of hard to do that. This is why it's a great sport, because you got to come back out and try to do the best you can, and that's all life is all about, trying to do the best you can.
Well, that's the emotion that's carried you so far for so long and so well. Thank you, Emmitt. Congratulations. Back to you guys.
All right, Leslie, always a treat watching Emmitt, who saved some of his best performances from Monday night. Another 100-yard evening for Emmitt under the lights as our crew heads to Arizona. We go to Tempe next week, where the San Francisco 49ers take on the Arizona Cardinals. Until then, Al Michaels, Boomer Esiason, Leslie Visser saying goodnight from Texas Stadium, where the Cowboys beat the Falcons 24-7. ABC Sports Online at ESPN.com. Stay tuned for your local news or other programming. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, continuing the tradition of excellence.